Hey guys, J-Man here. All right. Today we are going to be ranking the Halloween movies, all 12 of these suckers. So it's going to be pretty good. I've got my Halloween shirt and I've got my Halloween pants on. So it's hard to tell, but that's Halloween. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. We've got a bunch of guests lined up. I'm just getting my little spreadsheet here so I can get everyone's rankings. And for anyone in the chat, you can let us know what you think as we go. So the way this is going to work is we're going to talk about all 12 movies, and we're going to go from the worst to the best. I'm pretty sure we all know where the best is going to be, but anyway, so we're gonna go one by one, and I'm just going to get everyone's name in my little spreadsheet here. Okay. So 12, 11, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to try to keep this within 3 hours, hopefully. There is a lot of movies to talk about. Halloween is one of my favorite franchises. I would say Michael Myers is probably my second favorite of the movie killers. I think Jason is number one. Number two is Michael. So I'm excited. I did a ranking before, but for this ranking, I actually went ahead and rewatched everything except for part two, the 2018 movie, and Halloween 3. So 2, 3, and the 2018 movie I did not rewatch. But I've seen them enough to be sure of where my rankings are. So I think this is going to be really interesting going through all this and ranking all of these. Hey Gray. Okay, you're here. Yep. So I sent you a link. Just join us backstage, and I'll bring you in as well. And I've got your name down as well. So let me. I'll send you an invite again. I'm not sure if you got my first invite, but I'll send you one right now again, just so we can get you going. And I'm just gonna. So my Gmail's taken forever here to. There we go. Okay. So I sent you a link just in case you didn't get the previous one. If you did, you can use the previous one. You're on the way, bro. Okay, cool. Okay. So that's how it's going to work. We're going to start with the worst to the best, and we're going to go down one by one and just give our thoughts on each one. You're on your way. Okay, no worries. We'll get you in when you come in, and you can kind of catch up to where we're at the time. All right, so let's bring in Sean and Steve. How's it going, guys?
It's going okay. How are you, J-Man?
I'm doing good. Everyone hear me okay? I was sounding like a chipmunk earlier.
Yeah, it was great.
And I'm using iPhone headsets, for Christ's sakes. This is the shit,
Yeah.
Look, these iPhones cost like thousands of dollars, and this is the crap you get with them. Now I'm using the mic that's on my Logitech camera, which costs like $19.99.
You sound great.
So I mean, really, that's how bad that is. All right, so we haven't had my next guest on for a while, but I've been on his channel many times. Oh, Steve's wearing his Halloween shirt.
Yeah,
that's great. So I'm gonna bring in Owen from the Action Elite. How's it going there, dude?
All right, Trips. How are you?
Okay.
All right. So now I'm not doing the orange. Just the orange is always my logo anyway. So I haven't Halloween themed my background or anything. This is just a coincidence. So yeah, let's while we're get going here. Where would you rank Michael Myers or the Halloween franchise as a franchise in general compared to like a Friday the 13th franchise or like a Child's Play or Phantasm or whatever? Would you say the Halloweens as a whole, is that how high would they be? Sean, what are your thoughts?
It used to be number 3 behind Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, and now
Friday would be your number one?
I would say Nightmare was the number one.
So Nightmare was number one? Yep. No,
Yeah.
That's not fair. No.
And then Friday the 13th, and then Halloween. But now Halloween, I feel, has overtaken. Probably because of a lot of rights disputes and stuff around the other two franchises, but
Right.
they consistently make them, and they play them all the time. There's a great distribution package of the movies that proliferate on TV, and so generations know who Michael Myers is. And it used to be Michael Myers was the comedian, and then they had a running battle of popularity, but now Michael Myers the killer has overtaken Michael Myers the SNL star, right? So but yeah, I'd say over time it's really aged like a fine wine, and has been consistently putting out product, and is probably the number one now.
We talked about this because I mean, next year it's confirmed Halloween Ends, and that'll beat Jason.
Yeah,
that'll be the 13th.
And as I said,
it wasn't in part 3 as the character. I know he's
right. Yeah.
So it's weird, but Jason wasn't in part 5 or part 1 really.
Yeah.
So,
and it's quickly becoming Godzilla levels of movies, right? Like when Godzilla reached 15, it stopped for about 10 years or so. And that's when they had mega distribution, syndication packages and stuff. And that's when we saw the movies.
Right.
And at that point, he's getting to 13 now. I think that this will be a big thing for the next 20, 30 years at this point. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, Owen, where does the Halloween franchise as a whole rank for you in just terms of
number one?
Number one. So Halloween franchise is your number one horror series?
Yes. Yeah, Michael is number one. He's my favorite killer. I never really liked Nightmare on Elm Street. I never found any of them scary. I found them just funny. Right. Friday the 13th was just like a rip-off of Michael Myers, really.
Right.
So I still liked it. I mean, I can't remember which one it is, but Jason does have my favorite kill of all time, which I talked about on Preston's live stream a few weeks ago. And it's the one where he beats the chick against the tree in the sleeping bag.
7.
7, yeah.
7, yeah. I got
10 as well, but yeah.
And they redid it in Jason X, yes.
Yeah.
For those who missed it, in part 7.
That's right.
So number one. So yeah, now you gave me a Michael Myers that's in this corner over here. You can't see him. He's kind of next to my little Godzilla toy. So you gave me a big Michael Myers, which is awesome. That's one of my favorite little things that I have. So Michael Myers is number one. The franchise is number one. What would be a number 2 if you could pick a number 2 just as a
Chucky?
I would say Chucky's top 3 for me.
Yeah.
All the Child's Play movies are awesome. I love this TV show too. I hadn't seen episode 3 yet, but
I've only seen the first episode and it was good.
It's good. Second episode's great. Third episode, I'm sure it's going to be good. Mancini's great. So yeah, I would say like Friday 13th, man. I can't go. I just can't. Friday 13th, Halloween, probably Child's Play, Nightmare, maybe Phantasm. Could that be maybe my 5 that are like my favorites? Because it's like some of the other series are a little bit weird. Like Hellraiser is awesome, but like Hellraiser 1 and 2 are like super, super impossibly great.
Mm-hmm.
But then like some of them, you know what I mean? Like
Chucky, the 20 Puppet Masters.
I love Puppet Master, and Owen can confirm I do have the collection of Puppet Master toys in my room. Owen saw that. To celebrate Halloween, we watched 12 Angry Men, a black and white film. That's how we celebrate.
Scary stuff.
That's how we celebrate Halloween at J-Man's place. It's like, I watch every day's Halloween. So when it's actually Halloween, we it's inverse. We watch like classic films or whatever.
Although I've watched all Halloween films over the past couple of weeks, I've watched every single one of them. So I wanted to make sure they were all fresh in my mind. So all I have is the theme tune going through my head all the time.
Right. I've got the Halloween theme is my it's been my ringtone since you could pick ringtones.
Mm-hmm. Like, you see, it's because of that. That's why the Halloween is my favorite. Because like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, although Friday the 13th is the and I was like, no, nothing beats the Halloween theme tune. There is nothing in horror cinema that comes anywhere close to Halloween as far as I'm concerned in terms of the music. So yeah, it's one of the all-time great movie themes.
This fellow, Piston. I can't remember pronounce his name. He always loves the to see our shirts.
Oh yeah, it was us. I can own shows for like. All right, okay.
Yeah. There you go, Punisher, Garth Ennis. Yep.
Oh,
the
it's
Garth
just
Ennis
an
Punisher
old
there.
like shirt that says Canadian fast food and has a bear running chasing a dude. So yeah.
You win.
Dude,
You win Halloween.
Okay, so we can start it off. Greymalkin's going to be joining us, so he can kind of catch up when he comes on. Okay, so I don't know how we're going to start this, but like I'll just go with the way I have it on my screen here.
Well, the last one is 6, right? It's like, can we all agree?
What Curse of Michael Myers is the worst?
Yeah. Well, do you want to debate that or no?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so apparently I'm going to be doing hot takes already. I'm going to be
thinking again.
I guess there's going to be some hot takes by me. Let me tell you, I'm going to say a few things, and they're going to be like, "Are you crazy?" Because we did the ranking before, but I kind of didn't pay attention as much. It was just based off of my memory and what I remember thinking was good. Now I've rewatched, except for part 2, which I'm very confident on. And I'm very confident on number 3 because I saw it when it came out on Blu-ray and I saw the best version of it. And the 2018 movie, which we just recently saw, I'm very confident on my ranking of those. But all the other movies I rewatched, including part 1. I rewatched part 1 just last night. Okay, so let's start with Owen first because I've got his name first on here. What is your weakest Halloween movie?
It's kind of a joint lowest, and that's the 2 Rob Zombie remakes. Well, the remake and then the sequel. I know some people seem to like the sequel, but I think they're both just ugly movies. My problem is, I mean, John Carpenter doesn't like. I mean, I was saying to you earlier, like John Carpenter called Rob Zombie a lying piece of shit, and doesn't have high opinions of the movies, which is understandable because he said the whole problem was they demystified the character of Michael Myers, and that's always my problem is that we don't need to know his backstory or anything. He's just evil, and that's the way it is. Like you don't need to just because his family's white trash. Michael doesn't stand out as particularly evil because in Rob Zombie's movies, everybody's evil and deserves to die. So there's he doesn't really stand out. But in the original Halloween, he saw a normal family in a nice neighborhood and things like this never happened. So that's why it's shocking. But there's nothing particularly shocking about this because everyone's a piece of shit. And Halloween 2, like Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, it just doesn't feel like a Halloween movie to me. It never uses the music until the end credits. I like how it does. It does its own thing. I think there's some cool ideas and some good kills and everything, but and Tyler Mane is sort of cool and huge as Michael Myers. Once again, John Carpenter didn't like the fact that Michael Myers was huge. He's not supposed to be. He's just supposed to look, normal size, but there's this super natural, almost superhuman thing about him. But yeah, I mean, I don't really like either movie, particularly the unrated cut of Halloween. You don't need a rape scene in a Halloween movie. I always found that just excessive. So that was. Have you seen the unrated version? Yeah.
Yes, I don't remember which one I rewatched. I rewatched whichever one I was so lazy to go rewatch the remake because it's my worst one for sure.
I hate them. Yeah.
I was so lazy. I just went to Amazon Prime and would just watch the one that was on there, and that was not the unrated.
No, that was the theatrical.
I don't care. The regular one is awful enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just go next since I'm already talking. The Rob Zombie remake to me is an ugly movie. It's absolute crap. I like Rob Zombie, the person. I like him in interviews. I like his music. I have all of his albums. I actually like Rob Zombie. And his movies, though, are well directed and well shot for my kind of tastes, but the writing is abysmal. Every single character that has dialogue in the first Halloween movie is absolute garbage trash. It's not good dialogue. They don't feel like real people. They feel like they're all just ugly, mean assholes. They just swear all the time. It's not even like a white trash family where it's like, my name is Earl or whatever, where they're like, oh, they're just white trash guys, but they're doing something. It's like everyone is a piece of garbage. And Laurie sucks. If you watch the scene where Laurie is returning the key to the Myers house, right, because that scene is replicated in the John Carpenter film, and she's with Tommy, and she's returning the key, in the John Carpenter movie, Tommy's like, no, that place is haunted. Don't go. And she's like, Tommy, it's fine. Nothing's wrong. It's not haunted. Here you go. And then she puts the key. But then Michael Myers is standing like kind of in the window, like looking. And then in this movie, that's replicated by her saying, "Oh, look, I'm so scared. Ooh, the boogeyman. Ooh." And I'm like, why are you just such a complete bitch? Like, she's such a trash person. Like, and all of her friends, I'm going to rant a little bit on this, so just bear with me. Her friend Rob Zombie puts stuff in movies that he likes, which is sort of an interesting thing. Like, I like the stuff too. Like the one girl, the friend, not Annie but Linda, she's wearing a Slayer shirt. Now Linda was PJ Souls, and she was supposed to be like the cute kind of, not slutty, but she was the party or the kind of fun girl, the party girl, right? Those girls that Rob Zombie is depicting in his movie wouldn't like Slayer. Slayer is like underground, hardcore metalhead guys. It's like they wouldn't even know who Slayer is. And they make references, and they make movie references, like they do like Groucho Marx references, and he loves Groucho Marx, and so do I. They make all these references, but those are not those characters. These people, and they call at one point in part 2, like Danielle Harris's character Annie is like, "Oh, what's wrong, Kojak?" And I'm like, "Kojak? She doesn't know what that is." I wouldn't even be making a Kojak reference, right? It's like every character is written as though they're representations of Rob Zombie. They're not characters, and they're garbage. It's like nobody wears a Slayer shirt who's like some teeny bopper girl. You go to high school right now and say, "Do you know what Slayer is?" Like, huh? Like, there's no way. It's just bad. Anyways, that's my rant. And Michael Myers killing everybody is fine. He kills them. It's brutal, and that's great. Tyler Mane looks big and menacing. He's scary. I'll give him that. It's a scary dude, big guy. It's like everyone is just so trash in that movie. All the characters. Laurie is so awful. That's the worst movie. That's like a no-brainer easy. The remake, plus the demystifies Michael Myers, so it's not a great film anyways.
Yeah. Although I do like Malcolm McDowell as Loomis. I thought they kind of changed his character a little bit, which I liked. I like how in the second one he's kind of this like asshole, and he's used the tragedy to sell books, and that's sort of an interesting thing, which is nothing like Donald Pleasance's version of the character, but that's what I like. It's like one thing they did different, but I was like, I prefer the second half of the remake because it's basically Halloween again. It's basically the same thing, and the first half is just people swearing constantly. I mean, if I want to hear people swearing constantly, I'll just talk to myself.
Yeah. All right. So Sean, what's your worst then?
Man, I forgot about the Rob Zombie movies. That's probably because I don't regard them as Halloween movies.
Yeah.
So, between 1 and 2, God. Like, the thing is, they're both like, yes, 2 is cool as a Rob Zombie movie, but it's not a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And part 1 is too much reaching. And I think part of the problem with those 2 movies too now is that we've got 2 modern ones that are new takes on the concept and hew close to what Halloween is and what Michael Myers is. And you could you can pick out flaws and stuff from those films. But it's not, it's true. You could say they're Halloween movies. You could say they're Michael Myers movies. And it's difficult to say that for the Rob Zombie films. So yeah, I'd say probably part 1 then is the one, because like it's trying to be a Halloween thing, whereas the second one isn't, I guess. But like but that first one is trying to be one, and it's frustrating because it's not, and it's ridiculous and reaching. And I forgot that he wrote them. I thought someone else wrote them and he directed them, but yeah, like to your point, J-Man, like I hate when movies do that where they try to make kids in the movies like something, like it's like in the new Chucky remake, not the TV show but the movie they made. There's this little kid that loves Tupac Shakur. Why would he care? Like, it's like, dude, like that guy died when I was like a teenager. So I don't know. I'd say part 1 is probably the worst. I remember feeling really frustrated with most of it, and I don't like what they did with Dr. Loomis. I know that in the real part 1 and 2, if you watch him now, he's kind of an unhinged asshole too. But there seems to be no vision as to what to do with the character. I know that Rob Zombie wanted to kill him And,
Right.
and in the original cut of that movie, he dies. Michael Myers crushes his head. Everyone was so pissed off about that, so he's like, "Fine, Dr. Loomis is back," and now he's like selling books and he's an a-hole. And it's just like he's just dragging him through the mud because he doesn't like the character. So, anyways, part Rob Zombie 1, I guess.
All right. So Steve, Rob Zombie 1.
I'm still sticking with Curse Part 6.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with it. It's unwatchable, in my opinion. It's like literally if J.J. Abrams made a Halloween movie, that's how I would assume it would come out. It is unwatchable. I have no idea what's going on. The idea of Jamie having a kid with Michael is like preposterous to me. I don't understand what is going on in that movie. They have Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle. Why? I have no idea. It's just the guy from Part 5. They totally ruined that. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell's going on in this movie at all. It's just wretched.
It's not clear in the theatrical cut that it is Michael Myers' kid.
Right.
Just if because the producer's cut I think is awful.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's an awful movie. It's not Rob Zombie bad because I'm not angry.
Right.
So we're not ranking. That's not the Secret 13th movie for you, J-Man.
If you want to call it the 13th movie, it would be the worst after the two Rob Zombies.
Right.
But Curse, the theatrical Curse, it's not for sure clear that's she's just having a baby. We don't know.
Yeah, I always wondered that. I was wondering who the father was. I saw the producer's cut years ago and I forgot about that. But I watched 6 the other day. And I was like, God, this movie is just wretched. It's so crap. I did not know that because I was only wondering. I was like, wait, who's the dad of her baby? And it's just totally not clear. And then what happens with the? Oh no, I've forgotten the actor's name. The guy who's like, "Kill for me, Danny." You know, the guy with the black hat and everything.
Just the boots with the silver.
Yeah. Does he die? Did he die quickly off screen or something? Because I don't know what happened to him.
No one knows what happened to anyone in that movie.
Yeah,
all of the actors have disavowed their thing. Everyone should be fired for life for being
cast into the Phantom Zone.
Paul Rudd should be fired from Ant-Man for being in that movie. It is a wretched, awful piece of shit.
Wretched is such a good word.
Removed from film.
Oh well, we're gonna have some hot takes later in my list because that one's not gonna show up right away. I just rewatched it. Okay. Curse was the first one I saw in the theater as well, so keep that in your minds when you see where it ranks on my list. Okay, so Curse, regardless whether it's the producer's cut or the theatrical cut, you're keeping that as the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the second worst then for me is Rob Zombie's number 2. Rob Zombie's Part 2 ranked a lot higher for me when we did this list before. I rewatched it last night, unrated version. I can't get over how much I despise Laurie, her friends, and everyone. I think that I can take Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I need to remove half an hour, and I could probably make that into a very good film. I love the look of it because he changed film stock or whatever. He made it grainier. It looks dirty. Michael Myers is just like he's evil. I love that it's the adventures of Michael Myers in between Halloween, because what is he doing when he's not Michael Myers? He's a homeless guy. He must be just smelly and dirty and awful, and he's all bearded and gross, and he puts the mask on to kill, right? And the kills are brutal. I love the way it's shot. I love the imagery. I like the white horse crap. I like Lords of Salem is a great movie. That's probably my favorite Rob Zombie movie. I love all that visual stuff. It's not a Halloween movie, but Loomis being a guy who wrote a book, it's like, first of all, everybody writes books on this thing. I don't know how writing a book about a serial killer made you bad. Like, everyone does that. So he tried to insert this big statement of, oh, you're preying on people's lives and you're making money off them. It's like, Well, no, I'm a doctor. I'm writing about my experiences with Michael Myers. It's a big case. Everyone knows about it. Like, yeah, I wrote a book. Like, if we didn't write books on these serial killers, we wouldn't be able to study them. So I don't know how that translated into being something bad. That's just like Rob Zombie not liking these kinds of people. It's like, oh, they're bad. It's like, how? I don't get it. So I'm okay with Loomis doing that because I don't even see him as a bad guy. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm good with them. I just can't stand Laurie. I understand because of the events of the first movie, she's traumatized, but she's so irritating and god awful. Danielle Harris is much better in this one. Annie is much better in this one because she took her trauma and now is trying to just be a normal person. But Laurie is still the star, and I can't stand her. I wouldn't have ranked this as low. I would rank it much higher if you removed Laurie, actually, because I like all the other stuff, the visual stuff. The kills are brutal. There's still white trash people. There's still trash characters who are shit talkers, but it's not the whole movie, and it's not a family. Like, it's just a bunch of ass wipes, and then he kills them. It's not like this is the Michael Myers family and that entire family is completely trash. I can't watch those scenes. It's so I had to watch Halloween the remake in 4 installments. I watched it in half. I swear, I watched half an hour. I'm like, can't take it. I shut it off, literally took a break. I read comic books and said, okay, let me go to the next half an hour. That's how I had to do the remake. Rob Zombie's Part 2 would be my 11th worst, but it has potential to be I actually think it has potential to be a great film if Rob Zombie could just remove some of the crap that he feels forced to put in. Okay. Sean or Owen, you're next. What's your next worst one? Rob Zombie Part 2?
No, that was joint. The two of them, I hate them both equally.
We'll
So-
say it is then.
We're gonna so that'll be the 11th worst for you.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add on Rob Zombie's Part 2 then?
The only thing I will say in defense of the movie is that, even though the script is bad, the acting is decent. I mean,
Yep.
I will say that's the only thing about these movies which is maybe better than the original Halloween. As much as Halloween is like my favorite horror movie of all time, some of the acting is bad. I will admit that. But yeah, there are some decent performances. I like some of the kills. There's some great cameos, and usually from Rob Zombie regulars. Shit, what's his name? Grizzly.
Everybody's in it.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
Like, he has so many people in his movies. Like, even returning Danielle Harris.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that was great. So yeah, I mean, there were a few moments, but like I said, the script and people and just the look is so ugly that there's no joy watching it. You're watching it, and once it's over, you want to go have a bath because you just feel like unclean after watching it because you've just been around those like filthy people and just it's just ugly. So I'm just going to say the 2 Rob Zombie movies are there, and then for the next round, then I'll tell you what the next one is.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I will say bringing back Danielle Harris, bringing back all these horror actors is crazy. Everybody that has a line of dialogue is somebody special from a horror film or franchise. I think Rob Zombie and I would be best friends because I've watched all his interviews. I'm like, dude, everything you're saying is everything I love. It's like he's sitting there, I was like, oh, I love the Marx Brothers and stuff. Like, oh my God, so do I. He's like, oh, I love all. He goes, we used to watch monster movies and we'd watch Godzilla and we'd watch like Planet of the Apes. Remember, he goes like, remember when it was Planet of the Apes all weekend long on TV? We'd be like, yeah, I'm like, oh, dude, like Rob Zombie and I are best friends, and his movies. Yeah, he just doesn't know it. And everything he does is great except for the writing. Like every movie, the writing is the same garbage. He creates cool characters. In the Devil's Rejects and all that stuff, good characters, good. I like the look of his stuff, but everyone is just a trash talking, garbage person. Okay, Sean. So what's your 11th worst? So Rob Zombie Part 2, or do you have a different one?
Rob Zombie 2. I listen. Like we had talked about this, saying like it was kind of good, like but on its own. But Rob Zombie and like you're saying. Yeah, it's true that he likes all this geek stuff and he talks a big game. But when he puts it on paper and puts it in front of a camera, it's inarticulate and messy. And it's like, I don't even know what the morality of these movies are. I don't even think he understands how horror movies work, even though he's a fan of them and makes them and is a big, expert on them. I don't understand, like to Owen's point, like his movies to me, all of them are slogs and they're not they're a tough watch. And so is this movie. Like, I'm not rooting for the horror characters that much. I'm rooting for them insofar as they kill like guys in a pattern. The people that there's a final girl for a reason, right? That's the one that doesn't want to smoke and all that stuff.
Right.
And to have everyone just be bad, who am I? It's just it feels dirty and tawdry, and there's no joy in it, as you said, Owen. This man is making a Monsters movie. Like, let that sink in your head. But
no, it's
I love
great.
Monsters, so I can't wait to see that. I don't know what he's gonna do with that. Well, I do know what he's gonna do with that, but whatever. But yeah, I just I can't get into it as a good movie, or I could see the merit of it.
Right.
But as a Halloween movie and just as a Rob Zombie, I don't even like Rob Zombie movies anyways. I'd say this is my 11th worst.
Okay. So Steve, Curtis was your worst. What's your next worst?
Well, it's Rob Zombie Halloween Part 1.
Rob
It's-
Zombie. Okay. Anything to add that we haven't?
It's pretty much basically all that everyone said. Like, the thing I'll say about Curse is the story behind the making of the movie is far more interesting than anything that takes place in the movie.
Right.
But like this one, I couldn't even watch the special features because I don't care what Rob Zombie's thought process was. I don't care. The first half is borderline unwatchable. The second half has moments like Tyler Mane is a big scary dude as Michael Myers. I agree that that's not what he was supposed to be, but at least after the first one, like I was hoping for anything, and he did give me some good kills and whatnot. I like Malcolm McDowell as Loomis. If you had to bring back the Loomis character, that's the guy I would cast. So that was fine. I agree that I dislike Laurie Strode immensely in that movie. Like, people don't give Jamie Lee enough credit for her Laurie Strode. I think her performance in the first one, and Scout Taylor Compton just bastardizes it all over the place. She's terrible. Everyone else is whatever. If Curse wasn't so unwatchable to me all the way through, this one would be the worst. But because it is, and Zombie gives me something to work with more so in the second half, it's just that much out of last place.
Okay, so Steve, let's stay on you. Are you going to say Rob Zombie Part 2 is the next worst one for you?
Nope.
No. Okay, so we'll get back to you then. Okay, so Owen, now we're on the next. So the two Rob Zombies are out. What's your next worst one? I'm going to go last because I'm going to get beat up badly when I say what my next one is. Everyone is going to hate me.
Not by me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion and their faith.
You're gonna. Oh, we'll see what you say in about 10 minutes. We'll see about that, Owen. We're gonna put that to the test in 10 minutes from now.
Part 6, Curse, is next for me. I mean, when I was watching it the other day, I mean, there were a few moments I like. There were a couple of good kills, like the bullying asshole dad. I liked watching him get his comeuppance. That's pretty much it. Like it's funny, like the opening scene with the grown-up Jamie, and it just opens with her screaming. I just have to mute it because it's just so horrible and shrill, and particularly with a hearing aid, and it's just that's all I hear whenever I'm watching it. So I do find this one really unwatchable. I liked it more when I was younger, and I think I was more forgiving just because I loved Michael Myers. I kind of liked the score as well, but one thing we haven't talked about so far is I did like the mask that Rob Zombie had in his movies. I thought Michael Myers' mask was good. Michael Myers' mask was not good in 4, 5, and 6. Actually, the mask sucks. I thought, but particularly in 6, I don't know. It just felt weird and a mess. I got to hear all the behind the scenes stories because I haven't heard them.
I actually, so you know what? I really like the Curse mask. I think it's the best mask since Part 2.
It's okay.
Up until that point,
It's
I
4
would
and
say
5 are the
this
worst.
mask, current, is the second best. I would say if we're ranking the masks, Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills is the second best mask. I would say. I would say Curse. Yeah, would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Would you agree? Would you agree with that, guys, for the masks?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like, because I'm a big mask guy, and I watch all these videos. I remember I sent you guys the bad masks video, which is great.
Yeah,
That was great. Yeah.
But I would say Curse is my third favorite mask. I think the mask in Curse is actually pretty good. Because the 5 mask is weird. I'm a fan of truth. I'm a fan of everything. What are you talking about? Of course, I'm a fan of Halloween 5.
5 is a random one to
yeah.
buy on.
Because I guess people don't like it for some reason. I know
I
why.
didn't know that. Anyway, yeah. I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, the mask, the obviously part 1 mask is best, and part 2 it's the same mask. Like Dick Warlock is wearing the same mask, but his face is rounder, so it just puffed it, so it looks a little weird. But Curse is a great mask. Yeah. So Owen, okay, so Owen, you're saying Curse was your next one. Sean, what is your next?
It's Curse.
Curse.
I don't know what random one you're gonna say, Jay, but
everyone's gonna hate me. I told you.
But no, Curse. I want to like Curse. I back in the day, like I was really waiting for Curse because of the ending of part 5, right?
Yeah.
And it came out, and I think I forced myself to really like it, but I just watching it again, it just seems like too much of a reach. I don't think you need to break a franchise in order to come up with new ideas. For the next thing, and it's like they totally reached too much to the point where I feel like Michael Myers himself is a patsy in his own movie. He's not really the focal point, and he's more of a Frankenstein's monster rather than a character, right? And it's just everything else just doesn't work. And like the Druid stuff could have worked, I guess, in some sort of way, but it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie to me. It's not what I came here for, you know. So, like I know everyone's gonna beat up 6 or has beaten up 6. I can't say much more than that. It's just that it's my what is it? What are we on? My 10th? It's my 10th
worst.
Yeah,
10th worst. Okay, Steve, 10th worst, and it's not Rob Zombie Part 2, so this will be good.
It's Revelations. Part 8.
Which one?
Part 8.
Resurrection.
Resurrection, renovations, whatever they call them by this
the
point.
Buster Rhymes one, man.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah. And I actually don't mind this movie too much. I actually find a lot of value with it. I really like Katie Sackhoff. I always like Katie Sackhoff. I like the concept. I like the idea of them going into this house and doing a reality show, and it's all like staged. I thought that was really cool. The first 10 minutes were awesome. I love the thing with the guy who's like who recites the serial killers, and he's like, oh, Michael Myers, born whatever. Da da da.
That was awesome, and he's like singing. Cool.
Yeah,
he's talking about it as Michael Myers walking away, and the music comes in. And everything. That was cool.
That was really cool. I actually don't mind this movie at all. It's just that I like the other movies better.
Yeah, same.
And like, but the last thing, the Busta Rhymes thing is him just fighting Michael Myers. It's just bad. It's just really, really bad. But like overall, this movie is probably my underrated one now, like most underrated. It's not bad at all. It's just if they cut out that last bit, it would be actually really damn good. So.
All right. Okay. So I just want to point out before I say this, except for the 2 Rob Zombie movies, and not even the second Rob Zombie, except for the first remake, the remake of Rob Zombie, that's the only one that I have zero interest in ever watching again.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it 3 times now. That is enough for my life.
Mm-hmm.
Every other movie, I'm totally good with rewatching, and I kind of like all of them for different reasons. So it's sort of like this is the only one that I don't want to rewatch. All the other ones I'm happy to rewatch. My pick, and the reason it's here is, I don't know, it's just I rewatched it the other day and I thought, wow, nothing happens in this movie and it's a lot of silliness and the characters are boring and bland and Michael does hardly anything in it till the last 10 minutes and there's a lot of silly jump scares that are nothing. Like people just come, hey, and there must be like 7 of these. And that's H2O.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Nothing happens. it's just she's like this in the school, and it's like the kids leave, and you could see his eyes so clearly. I was just, I don't know. It's not bad, but there's no suspense for me at all. He's walking. Michael Myers does nothing. He kills like 2 or 3 people, which is fine. The Halloween movies don't need to have a high body count. That's the Jason territory. But there's nothing really like memorable about those characters. They're just random. They're just random kids. Her son does, like Josh Hartnett, doesn't do anything. Jamie Lee's like, okay, I'm going to take him down. She's got the axe, and it's like he's literally like standing on a table. Like, get off the table and go get her. Like, I just don't understand what's happening. Like, he seems so ineffective in this movie, and it's like, where was he for 20 years? There's no explanation at all as to they didn't even bother. Like, it's like it continues from part 2, but there's like, yeah, he's back. It's 20 years later. He's still following her. Well, where was he? Like, it's not like, like a Halloween 4 or even a 2018 where they continue and they do show you what happened in between. I just feel it's kind of aimless. It's like it was made just to make it, and like it's 20 years later. I don't know. That's my pick, and I know that's a bit of a hot take because I think people do like H2O. I think, but I saw it in the theater from Curse and on. Like, I've seen everything, right? So I just couldn't get into H2O the second time. or my third or fourth time now, wherever many times I've seen it. So that's my pick. So I know that might be somewhat. I'm putting that below Resurrection and Curse. which is a bit insane. I know that's insane. I just, for whatever reason, couldn't get into it. And I just watched this one, like, not like Rob Zombie, where it took me 4 chances. All these other movies, I sat and watched the whole movie like proper. So that's my 10th worst one. Okay, let's go to the 9th worst one. Let's go with Owen. So so Curse was your 10th. So what was your 9th?
Resurrection.
Resurrection.
There are things I like. I love the score. I like what they did with the theme, and this one is really haunting and menacing. I thought that was cool. But the whole idea that it's horror movie logic, I suppose, that, oh wait, she didn't actually cut his head off. It was somebody else, and she crushed the larynx of the other guy. I'm like, that's the fucking stupidest thing I've ever heard. And yeah, again, it sort of lost me from that point. And then Busta Rhymes came in, and I was like, okay, I'm out. There are some cool kills. I mean, him killing a guy with a camera tripod, that was cool. And I liked some of the characters. And there's some interesting ideas. I thought it was ballsy to actually finally kill off Jamie Lee Curtis, and then they don't. So yeah, it's the whole Busta Rhymes thing. Like, you had a cool idea there. Stephen was saying, I like the idea of the whole reality TV show thing. I thought that was interesting. Katie Sackhoff, I follow her on YouTube and watch her videos, and she was reacting to her performance in this. And the scene where she lifts up her shirt? Yeah, that's not her. And she was so annoyed because she said she wasn't going to do that, and they inserted that. It was like a stunt chest, and I was like, what kind of piece of shit does that? When she wasn't going to do it, and I was like, yeah, that's Hollywood. So there's that. But yeah, there's not much I like about this one. I don't watch it that often. I like the first 10 minutes. Like you said, the guy who's dressed up as like Gacy and everything and reciting everything, I think he's cool. Frankly, he should have had a bigger role in the movie. But otherwise, yeah, this one's definitely way down there. Mostly just because of Busta Rhymes doing the whole stupid Bruce Lee impression, or Wing Chun Lee, or whatever the guy's name is in it. And I was like, no, this is so dumb. So yeah.
All right. Resurrection I'm there with Resurrection as well. Same points, good concept. I think the mask is a little bit better in this one. You don't see Michael Myers' eyes as much, or sometimes you at least don't see them. My problems is that the characters in this are Friday the 13th characters. They're dumb, they're sex crazed, or they're just idiots. And I always felt that the Halloween films, the characters were always a level up from the Jason kills. And that was my main problem. They're just too silly. Like, Tyra Banks is a very silly character. Busta Rhymes is like not a real person. It's just like this weird character who can fight now, and it's not really explained. It's like, it doesn't need to be explained, I suppose, but it does if you're fighting Michael Myers. It's kind of weird. Michael Myers doesn't die at the end, though. He does. He lives at the very last second. He's still alive. So I like that. Good concept, but the Michael Myers house is not large enough for what movie they're making. And Sean and I saw this together in the theater, and I remember when she chops off his head, and then you find out it wasn't Michael Myers' head. And I know, Owen, you just pissed on that, but when this is the point for me when something is so dumb that it becomes brilliant. It's like where Nightmare 4, the dog, which is Jason, his dog pisses flame on the ground, and then Freddy's bones are like brought back together, and he's back. And I'm like, hey, Hot Takes, how's it going, dude? That was a great stream you did earlier. You should have had me on the ranking the horror movies. I own like 700 something horror movies, buddy. I am horror movies. I would have ranked them all for you in like a minute. But yeah, like or Saw Part 4, where they do an autopsy on Jigsaw, and they pull out a tape, and it's like the game's not over. I'm like, yeah, it's almost unreal. It's so silly, but I love it. But the Michael Myers house is not large enough to have a Big Brother type of thing happening where they have cameras. It's like, I mean, Michael went up the stairs and killed his sister. There was like a 2-room. It was like 2 or 3 bedroom. Like this was a small little like house in Little Haddonfield. Like it's not large enough to contain this movie story. It would have been better if they were shooting it live in Haddonfield, and the characters were walking around Haddonfield with like
a murder tour,
a murder tour, saying, "Oh, here's where all of the killings
this guy, and
right. Here's where he killed. Here's where Loomis shot him. Oh, here's where Annie got killed." And then Michael is stalking them within Haddonfield, not within the house. So I mean, we could fix that movie is fixable. Like Rob Zombie's remake is pretty much unfixable. I can't edit it. The second Rob Zombie movie is fixable. I can re-edit it. I can make that better.
At the time the movie was made, that concept made sense because it was a very trendy thing at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they didn't have GoPros and shit like that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, good idea, not executed well, but some good kills. Busta Rhymes is a little bit silly. Everyone's a silly character. That's my problem.
You don't care about anybody in it, yeah.
No, I didn't care. And that's fine for a Jason movie, which has outrageous kills. But this movie doesn't go to outrageous kill level. It's just regular kills, Michael Myers style. But the characters I don't care about. That's my issue. Sean, what was your 9th worst?
H2O, because
H2O,
yeah. So I rewatched some of the newer ones recently because I've watched the old ones like ad nauseum, and yeah, it's true what you're saying. That it's slow. It's like I've always had a problem with that movie, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And when I watched it again, the plot is slow, and I never fully understood what's his name oh god, I can't remember his name. He just shot in the head, and then he's all quiet. LL Cool J. And I made a joke the other day that man has it in his contract, he can't die. But like, and the other thing too is when I rewatch it, and this happened again last year when I rewatched it, I keep forgetting that Josh Hartnett is in this movie. Like it was made in a time when Josh Hartnett ruled Hollywood, and he was in like in every movie. And he would have been in Indiana Jones 5 if he held on, but yeah, it's kind of slow. It brought him back to the modern age, and that's where the modern movies jumped off from. But I don't know. It's just I couldn't get into this one. It's hard to like rewatch it again because you expect certain things out of a Halloween movie, and it doesn't really deliver. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a bad movie or anything like that. Jamie Lee's back.
No.
Welcome, great to have her back. It's just underwhelming for me. And I saw that one in the theater. I was very excited. I thought, oh, that's okay. Okay, so we're Steve. What was your 9th worst? So this ranks above Resurrection.
The 2018 Halloween.
2018. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It's okay, but there's nothing particularly memorable about it. It's there. To me, it's just like Michael Myers walking around killing people. His doctor is crazy. He puts on his mask. Why is he wearing a mask? I don't know. Like, and he's just appearing and just randomly killing people. I'm like, sure. I do like some of the scenes. I like him, like the scene where the light kept going on and off and he kept appearing. I thought that was cool. There's some cool things. I like the trap at the end. I like that whole idea. I don't buy Jamie Lee Curtis as a survivalist. I buy her more in H2O, and I'll get to that in a second. But like, it felt too much like we're going the Terminator 2 Linda Hamilton way.
Right.
I don't really buy it. And that whole dinner scene was atrocious. It was long. Judy Greer was so annoying. I could not believe it. She's like, oh, I'm like, this woman's been traumatized. And like, it's just like this daughter doesn't care. And I'm just like, I can't stand her. It's okay. But I remember people were like, oh, Halloween is back. Not for me with this one. This one, it was So that's it. The prepper angle.
I don't remember the.
I think that when Laurie became
Laurie Strode, basically becoming Linda Hamilton,
yeah.
I understand why. It's just like that's excessive. Like, how would you get your hands on all that and not be on any kind of list?
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
That's a good question.
Just saying.
As soon as I saw her doing that, I was like, "Oh, Terminator 2, Linda Hamilton." That's immediately what went through my head.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't fit what Laurie Strode would have been like in the first film. And since I was told that this was an immediate sequel to the first one, that's how I took it.
Do you think she would have ended up more like an H2O?
Yeah.
That's why H2O is higher up, because that's Laurie. Because she's in the first one, she's intelligent and she's the smartest of all of them. And the Laurie in Halloween H2O is a headmistress.
Yeah,
she's smart. She's still Laurie Strode to me.
Yeah,
so that's why it's higher up on my list.
Yeah,
I agree with that point big time. I super agree with that. Laurie is not the problem of H2O. She's good in it, and I like that she's protective of the family, and she's like, look, we have to be smart about this. I like that her immediate reaction is like, okay, I'm done running, I'm gonna tackle this head on. Those are the good parts. The Michael Myers parts to me weren't as interesting in H2O. That's why I ranked it lower. Okay, so great. Let's fast track you. What is your worst Halloween movie out of the 12?
I'm going with Halloween 3. Had nothing to do with it. Yeah, yep. Had nothing to do with it. Didn't even make any sense.
Okay.
Number 9, Curse of Michael Myers, because they killed the daughter off in the first 5 minutes. Yep. That was weird.
That's 11. That's number 11.
That's number 11. There's 12. We're counting the Rob Zombie movies.
Oh yeah, those are the worst. Like, anything Rob Zombie does is like a crazy methed out like fever dream. Like, just know that there's no happy endings.
Okay, so the pretty much except for Steve, we're all in the Rob Zombies are the worst ones. Though part 2, I can fix with a fan edit. I'm not going to because I don't have time. And Rob Zombie's part 2 is just a minor guilty pleasure. I wish you could cut out half an hour, even if without editing, just remove half an hour, because Laurie crying every 5 minutes is like, F you, I hate you. It's like, shut up. It's like, okay, so the 10th, so you got Season of the Witch, because no Michael Myers, it doesn't have anything to do with him. Okay, and then Curse, which is part 6, and now we're all caught up.
Right.
All right.
All right. But
do it this way.
I just say that 4 and 5 seem like they're half of the same movie. It seems like it was like, 4 and 5 are like the same,
right?
But they were half. They're like, you can't watch one without the other.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks for coming in, man. Thanks, Nerd Man. Okay, so we're on our 8th now.
Right.
So 8th worst. So I'll start, and then Owen, and then Sean, and then Steve, and then Gray, and that's just how I had you guys pop in. So my 8th worst one is The Curse of Michael Myers. I saw it first. I saw it in the theater. I was very excited to see it. I was very excited based on the ending of part 5, like what's going to happen, blah, blah, I just felt it was a bit disappointing. The producer's cut, I actually think the producer's cut would probably be my second worst Halloween movie, because putting a circle in the ground and having Michael Myers be frozen in that is the dumbest thing ever made. It's so stupid. The theatrical cut is not great, but I think Michael Myers looks cool. And I like the fact that they tried to make a Halloween setting. Like, I like the fall is my favorite. Halloween is my favorite time of year. I love all this stuff. I love, orange is one of my favorite colors. That's my logo. That's, my thing. Green and orange are my colors. And that's kind of Halloween. I love it is slow, but I like the slowness of Curse. It's just, it's Halloween and there are people walking around, and Loomis is in it. If Loomis is in it, if Donald Pleasance is in it in some small way, I can't rank it lower. I can't rank it below 1, although I have ranked it below 1 that he's not in. It's hard to rank it too low because Dr. Loomis is so good, and Donald Pleasance is just awesome. And just him walking around and talking is almost enough. I like that Paul Rudd is like weird. He's like peeping Tom and stuff. The movie is not great, but the characters, I don't hate the characters. And Michael Myers looks okay. There's some good kills, and there's Loomis. That's literally my reasoning. I don't love anybody, but I don't hate everybody. Like in all these other movies, I can't stand the characters. In this one, the characters are okay. Loomis is in it. Michael Myers looks cool. It's fall and it's Halloween and it looks cool. That's my only reason. The storyline, the Thorn thing, that's dumb. The Man in Black thing was ruined, as Steve said. So that's my number 8. So let's go to Owen. What is your 8th worst?
Next is Halloween 3, which I do like as a movie. It's just not a Halloween movie. As I was saying to you earlier, Jay, they should have just called it Season of the Witch or Silver Shamrock, and just not had it as anything to do with Halloween. I don't know why they call it Halloween 3. That's literally the only issue I have with it. I love the movie itself because it's so weird and dumb. But I just love that. And then you got the old man from RoboCop in it, Daniel Hurley. So you can't go wrong there. And then Tom Atkins, as my buddy Doug was saying earlier, who has road beers. Like he's about to go on the road with this chick and grabs a 6-pack of beer to go with him. He's like, hey, priorities. We're going to investigate this murder, but I'm going to get a 6-pack on the way.
I mean,
I might have to rank this a lot higher now that you're you're making a good case for us to be higher up on the list.
I know, this is number 1. You keep freezing here. Is it me that's freezing or is it you?
Kinda.
J-Man keeps freezing for me.
Yeah.
Am I freezing?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's odd because I've got my internet shows good. It's not like when I'm on my laptop and the internet's garbage or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So Season of the Witch. So Sean, what is your 8th worst?
Oh, Resurrection, man. It's like I like Resurrection more now, I think. Because I mean, you rewatch it and there's good kills, and the first like 10-15 minutes is awesome. That dude reciting the big stats and getting the knife as a reward and all that. All that stuff is cool. I think Busta Rhymes is the only like sore point for me. It's like, he's too goofy, and Michael Myers is undermined whenever he shows up in a scene with Michael Myers. I mean, he pings him in the head.
He's the Dungeon Dragon, okay?
Well,
like,
he
pings fire.
He pings the guy in the head. This is Michael Myers who's killed like countless people, and Michael Myers just walks away. It's ridiculous. It's stupidness. They're forcing humor where it doesn't belong. I think that character could have been cooler. Like, I mean, he's cool when he's like when he's freaking out at people and stuff. There's some strange stuff in that movie too where they're going too much for humor. So that ping in the head thing is one thing. The one where I think someone screams and glasses break. It's well, that's scientifically impossible, but sure, and the guy's like, oh, I like this or whatever. It's so stupid. It's like you're in or whatever. It's dumb. The rest of it, it's like he's in a different movie. The rest of it is really cool. He fights Michael Myers to a standstill. Yes, I know he comes back, but he defeats him, and he like shit talks him at the end on that newscast or whatever. So to me, he defeats Michael Myers, because then they rebooted after that. So, but yeah, it's my 8th. It's still watchable. I still pop it in, for some really cool moments. And the whole Busta Rhymes thing, it's not that bad. I can get into it. but it's not up there in my list. It's number 8.
All right. Okay, Steve, number 8.
It's H2O. It's okay. I was fighting between H2O and 2018 Halloween because to me they're both basically the same movie. It's a reboot of the Michael Myers franchise. Why I ranked H2O higher is I like the Jamie Curtis character more. It feels more like what Jamie Lee Curtis is. She's a headmistress, but she's an alcoholic because of what she went through as when she was, that. So I was fine with that. LL Cool J, I find the man watchable in everything I watch. I can't help it. Like, he was the best in Toys, which no one talks about that movie, but I remember watching him.
Oh yeah, he was in Toys.
Oh, he was brilliant because he was in the bathroom stall and he gets a phone call and they're like, "Sir, where are you?" He's like, "That is not an appropriate question at this time." And then he wasn't even in the bathroom stall you thought he was in. He had fake legs and he was in another bathroom stall for no reason. I mean, LL Cool J is awesome, man. I love him in this movie. Josh Hartnett, I hated him in this movie when I first saw it. I'm like, why is his face constantly melting? But you know what? After I saw Penny Dreadful, I became a Josh Hartnett fan because he was brilliant in that film.
Awesome in that.
In that series. And I went back and watched it. I'm like, you know what? I'll give him a pass. He wasn't bad. None of the characters are bad. Her boyfriend, who was like one of the doctors on Chicago Hope, was okay. Like, but he was like he wasn't Chicago Hope, like terribly ineffective. It's an okay movie. I don't hate it. The beginning, Nancy Stevens gets killed. The Marion character gets killed again.
Marion.
Yeah,
she gets killed so many times.
She gets killed all the time. Like, I don't know why Nancy Stevens keeps coming back, but like, it's okay, and it's like one of those movies where you realize that half the cast is from the WB.
I mean,
so
yeah,
it's got a bit of a nostalgia thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's just not terribly exciting to what you guys were saying earlier. Nothing really happens, so it's okay.
Okay. Gray, what is your 8th worst?
Man, Sean, you really made a really good case for Curse. You know what? I'm going with Halloween Resurrection as well. I mean, it's the only reason why I like it is because it's connected to H2O, and I really like H2O. You got to see me. There's no reason. It's just where it falls. Like you don't really need it, but it's part of the it's a part of the franchise. So franchise loyalty. Right.
Okay. 7th. So my 7th favorite is the 2018 Halloween. It's a bit of a remake. It's a reboot, whatever, or starting again from like part 1 or whatever. Am I frozen again? Was I frozen?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you're frozen now.
I don't understand. The internet is like it was perfect, and then it's like coming and going. I don't know. What
is a mysterious mistress.
I know. Anyways, so my whole thing was 2018 would rank higher if it wasn't for the fact that the doctor was weird and put the mask on. Like, that's stupid. That pissed me off. It's like, you don't wear Michael Myers' mask. And I don't like the fact that they said, ignore every other movie except for part 1, that we're going to just give you the same things the other movies that you're supposed to ignore are going to give you. Right? So it's like they're saying ignore all these other movies. Ignore all these other movies, but then they just harken back to them anyways. Oh, I'm still I'm still frozen.
No, you're fine.
You're fine. You're fine.
Just keep talking, man.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's my problem with it. My problem is not with the movie. My problem is that ignore all these other movies, yet we're going to just give you the same stuff that we gave you in the movies that you're ignoring.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, they're just homages. Yeah, but you said those other movies were pointless. This is the real sequel, right? So if it's the real sequel, why are you harkening back
Yeah, there's an arrogance to it.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's like, oh, this is from part 4.
Well, this is the real one because we're better. Yeah.
Right.
Right. It's like that's my problem with it. It didn't offer too many new things, and I don't like Laurie being this super gun person. Like, if we're ignoring part 2 and she's not the sister, why is she so concerned about Michael Myers coming back and fortifying everything? It's just kind of weird. And they point out in Halloween Kills that, oh yeah, well, she's not the sister, it's not about her. I'm like, okay, well, then why is it all like, why is it about her then? Like, why is the movie about her if it's
why
not
is he after her? Yeah, there's
so that's my problem with 2018. But good kills. I like the way Michael Myers looks amazing. Second best Michael Myers for me. Like the look, he looks awesome. Like there's the shirt of it. Like that's awesome.
Nice.
So and Judy Greer is irritating, but it is what it is. They fixed that in the next one. Okay, Owen, what is your 7th favorite?
Halloween 5. And it's funny because I've watched all of these over the past couple of weeks, and I used to love 4 and 5. Believe it or not, this was actually the first Halloween movie I saw. I saw this one before I saw anything else for some reason, and then I went back and watched them all, and I was like, "Oh, that's what's going on in this movie." So I saw it on VHS way back in early 90s, late 80s or something. I can't even remember. Anyway, Tina is annoying as fuck. Nobody's that cheerful about anything. I was like, I hope you die. And she did, so that's good. There are a couple of good kills. Why is there comedic cops, the 2 stupid cops with and then the music is going bang, bang.
Yeah, there's like slide whistles and there's no
music. Yeah, it's like so dumb. That takes me out of it. And then you got the other guy, the other character called Michael, who's like the douchebag with the car. And he's just kind of annoying and just doesn't feel like a real person. The problem is they're very much products of the time period. Just like, in a few years, you'll look back at the current movies and they'll be like, oh, they're a product of the time. And to me, like Halloween 4 and 5 are very much 80s movies, which of course is great. But I don't know, there's just 5 just annoys. Like I said, I find Tina really annoying. And yeah. So there we go.
That's what I get. Nothing. It's like she's like all her dialogue is like. Yeah,
I was like, nobody's like that.
This is
nobody sober is like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean, your 7th worst.
Oh, it's part 5. I love 4 and 5 as well. I mean, they came out year after year when I was a kid. So, but there's always been something weird about part 5. I remember watching it for the first time with a bunch of friends after school. Like we rented it, and those 2 cops come and there's that mega music and mega
the what's behind music.
And I remember like a friend of mine saying, are they like comedians that we should know about? Like, who are they? And like, I didn't understand what any of that was. That whole movie is weird because at the end of the of part 4, the little girl has just stabbed somebody, and her solution is integrate her back into the schools with other kids. She's in a big play. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand most of what's going on in part 4 in terms of like this is when they began to reach. Like, they didn't know what else to do here. I love it at the end, just for like humor's sake. I love it at the end when they set her as bait in the house, and every so often cops pop out with smiling faces, going, "You're a brave little girl," and they pop back out and they're like, "You're a brave little girl there," and it's so stupid. 5 is cool for some kills. Michael Myers is still stalking around, but at this point, it feels like they're really just spinning their wheels and they don't know what to do with this franchise. So, and I get that, like. It's one of those mirages where I'm like, I'm gonna pop in part 5. I love that as a kid. You watch it like, what's with these cops? Like, Anyway.
But it's the 80s though. Like you get away, like you can stab somebody and then just give it a year. You'll get over
it's
it.
like you're a brave little girl there. It's like, well, she's brave. She stabbed somebody. Have you stabbed somebody, cop? No, you haven't. Anyway.
Hey, like, hey, you don't know what you're going through.
All right, Steve, your 7th.
Rob Zombie's Halloween Part 2.
Yeah,
Here's where it lands. when I don't know, when Howard Hessman shows up, I was floored. I was like, Howard Hessman's still alive? I don't think Howard Hessman believes he was still alive. Like, why isn't Margot Kidder's in it? You have to understand, like, my viewpoint is the Halloween franchise actually ended after part 2. After that, everything was just like he just became derivative of himself. So then it became so everything after part 2, I started to review as individual films as opposed to being part of a cohesive franchise.
Right.
So I really like how he built part 2. The unicorn thing is mad. I love it. It's just like you're right, Gray. It's like a fever dream, but I like this. I liked this take on it. The Malcolm McDowell thing, I thought it was an interesting concept. Like, he's now profiting off other people's, deaths and that, and he's taking advantage of his position because he was Michael Myers' doctor. Tyler Mane, God bless him, he's acting his heart out, even though he has no right to be as Michael Myers, trying to be all like. They have a very weird take on Michael Myers, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's kind of like, well, this is, people say all the time, well, give me something different. Well, this is something different. I mean, I don't know if I particularly like it, but at least he's trying, which is more than I can say for some of the Michael Myers people who dress up as Michael Myers. Laurie Strode, you can't save that character. You can't do anything about it. So I agree with you, J-Man, like, remove her character, for God's sake, from this movie. But at least, unlike the first film, you gave me something to work with her. Who really needs a lot of credit with this is Brad Dourif. He was brilliant as Sheriff Brackett. Like, he was, when Annie gets killed, he's acting his frigging heart out. And I'm like, again, do you know what movie you're in? Like, I don't know what the hell happened there, but all of a sudden it was like one of the most emotional things ever. For me, I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching it for its eccentricities. To me, this is a lot like, they gave Rob Zombie carte blanche with this, and he made a Rob Zombie movie as opposed to, I guess, a Halloween movie. So I guess this says that, like, if Rob Zombie is allowed to make his own movie, I don't mind it as much. I did like The Devil's Rejects too. So yeah, I think it's fine. It's watchable to me. So.
Yep. Okay. Gray, your 7th worst.
7.
Best.
7 best. Okay. I'm going a little crazy. Halloween 2.
The official
for a reason. Like, and it builds on to what happened in the previous movie, but it doesn't bring anything else into it. Like, it's the most forgettable one. Like, name something. Oh, I mean, yeah, you find out that Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister. That's the one big thing, but what else?
Well, it's a pretty big thing. That's literally the reason he's after it.
And that's debatable whether I like that idea or not, but we'll get to it when part 2 comes up on my ranking. But okay. So we're in the top 6. This is the top half. So everything that just happened with that was this. So we just did the bottom half of 4 movies. This is the top 6 now, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the top half of the franchise. My number 6 is going to be Season of the Witch. I had to put it in the top because I love Season of the Witch. I think it's a great movie. I love the soundtrack. Tom Atkins is the friggin' best. There's some crazy gore in it. Yeah. Kids are being killed. The plot, and it's the guy from RoboCop. It's
Daniel Hurley. The old man.
Yeah. It's the old man from RoboCop. And his plan is that they're warlocks, right? And they're like, well, we don't sacrifice people like we should. So they're selling to children in order to kill them through the television thing. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I remember when I first saw it and I was like, there's no Michael Myers. And then I'm like, and then I'm like that. And then that was just, my brain shut off. I'm like, oh, there's no Michael Myers. I'm done. And then that was it. And then that movie came out and I never owned it on VHS. I owned 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 on VHS. Never owned 3. Came out on DVD. I think there was a pack of DVDs, so I bought the pack of DVDs and I never watched it. Then that Blu-ray pack came out. I thought, let me watch Halloween 3. I'm like, oh my God, this movie's genius. What happened? And I'm like, the same reason everyone else. No Michael Myers. I'm like, ugh. But I think it's great. I definitely think it should be in the top 6. It should just be called Season of the Witch. We could remove it from this list anyways. It's not a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
It's not a Michael Myers movie, but it's called Halloween 3. So I didn't want to cop out and be like, oh, we're not including part 3. Like, look, let's include it. Let's see where this stands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in my
Great ending too. This is the best, amazing ending. Is so devastating. Yeah.
And it's a dark ending. Did it turn off in time? Did they stop that signal or didn't they? Right? Silver Shamrock. It's you can't get. They did reuse that a lot, but the score is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Owen, you're number 6. This is the top 6, but you're number 6
is number 4. So at 4 and 5 are sort of ranked. 4, I do enjoy. I like the character of Jamie Lloyd. I think she's very appealing. I thought Daniel Harris was great, and I thought there were some interesting ideas. It's also got Kathleen Kinmont from Renegade, who I was always in love with, and she's in it, and she's like super hot. So I like that. The score was good. This is one of the worst masks. I think the mask is crap in it. The score is not bad. I love one thing I keep forgetting to mention is I love how kind of just more crazy Donald Pleasance is as the movies go on as Loomis. I mean, he's almost as crazy as Michael. Now, is this the one? Oh, shit, I just watched it and I can't remember if it's this one or the 5th one where he fucks Michael up. He like caps him in the net and then just beats the shit out of him with a piece of wood. That was 5. Yeah, that was actually a good scene. But yeah, this one, like once again, great dark ending. I love with Jamie, murdering her mother or stepmother. The stepmom, yeah. But I hate what they did with that storyline in part 5, where they never did enough with her. Like they could have gone into a really like dark direction with what they did, but then they just were like, "Oh, it's fine. She's had a bad day."
She's a brave little girl.
Yeah, a brave little girl. Never mind that woman you stabbed to death. So
He was mean.
Naughty.
Did you? Okay, so you haven't ranked part 5 yet. So 4 is worse than 5, right? For you?
No, I had 5. I had 5 was just.
Oh, I'm sorry. You had 5 as the 7th one. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
5 then 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. So 5 then 4. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Continue on. Yeah. So part 4.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I like the main character. Is it Rachel? Is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah, because I like how she's quite a different character from Laurie because she's not especially sympathetic. Like she's all about herself and she resents having to look after Jamie and things like that because she wants to go out on a date and she's like, "Oh, but I got to stay home." And I'm just like, "Screw you." I just yeah, and then they Bosley kill her off in part 5. So yeah, this one's good. Like I said, I like Jamie, but I don't know. There's something about like 4, 5, and 6. They were good at the time, but watching them now, they just don't quite hold up as well for me. But like I said, Kathleen Kinmont was a big plus side for me, and then you got the guy from Dazed and Confused as her boyfriend as well.
Yes, but she was. You didn't see that there was no nudity.
That so annoyed me the other day. I was like, "Oh."
Your face perversions offend me. No, okay.
I know. I haven't gotten to part 4 yet on my ranking, but I'm like, oh, come on, no.
So cool.
All right, Sean, your 6th favorite.
I guess it'll be controversial, but 2018 Halloween. And yeah, so it ranks fairly high on my list.
It's 7 for me.
Pardon?
It's 7 for me. So
okay. Yeah, everything you guys are saying is correct. But I view it as a Halloween Tales Halloween, and as such, Michael Myers is still awesome and brutal. I had complained before that they basically, to me, they confuse Michael Myers with Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is just a killing machine, and he goes around killing, and Michael Myers is more of a thinker, and there's more suspense around Michael Myers kills. Which should be called a movie. But anyway, but Michael Myers still there's a lot of great kills in that movie. I still pop it in from time to time. It's a good movie to pop in for Halloween. There's a great colorful lighting package they have for that too. That I like. Yeah. So yeah, I think 2018 Halloween's cool, man. It's not the best one, but it's a good one in the middle of the pack for me.
Yeah, I it's number 7 for me. I like it. My only legit tension with the movie is the doctor putting the mask on.
Yeah, that's like 5 minutes
doctor
and I forgot that even happened.
Right, but that's really that really pissed me off.
Yeah,
it just like that pissed me off.
Yeah.
The rest of it is fine. I'm more tense at the attitude of David Gordon Green and whatever, going like, oh well, ignore the other movies. It's like, okay, well, you're just giving me the same thing as the other movies that I'm supposed to ignore. That's my own, not the movie itself. So I'm not faulting the film for that. And we talked about this because all of us saw that in the theater together.
Yeah.
We talked about that coming out too. It's like, okay. Okay, so who we got? So Steve, what is your 6th favorite?
Return of Michael Myers, Part 4.
Part 4, yes. Okay.
There's a lot to like about this movie. I love the scene where they're transporting him at the beginning, and then like they start playing the Halloween theme, like blasting it while he's being transported. I really like that part. The scene with it was kind of odd when I first saw it, but the scene in the rocking chair, right, with the rocking chair where he thinks like he's sitting there, he's laying a trap for the cops. I thought that was great. The ending is probably one of the most satisfying because it's just literally every cop with a gun in the entire town just blasting him. Like that ending was terrific in my opinion. And then like having Jamie kill her stepmom was gutting to me. It was just like so disturbing when it happened. I really like a lot with this this movie a lot. The only thing I can't stand is the mask. I generally, if you do a good job with the Michael Myers mask, I actually don't notice. I don't notice that much of a difference between the other movies. But with this one, the mask is visibly horrible. It literally looks like they bought it in a dollar store. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It's too clean. Yeah, exactly, Truth. It was like horrid. And it didn't seem to even fit the actor's face correctly. It just looked terrible. And I stared at that thing. It took me out of the movie at times because I'm just sitting there staring at it like, what the hell is this? This is not Michael Myers. And like, I think the hair was whiter. Like
one shot because they didn't realize, and they were so tired they couldn't reshoot it. And he's blonde hair. They forgot. He's
blonde, yeah. At one point, I went, what the hell?
You should buy that mask. Trick or Treat Studios. I think it's Trick or Treat Studios has done every mask imaginable. It's like you can get the blonde-haired version of the Part 4 mask if you want to be that for Halloween.
Wow. I
was going to do a punk phase.
Yeah, it's so bad. But like, there's a lot to like about the movie. It is really fun. They brought Donald. I like how they want to bring Donald Pleasance back. He just has some scarring from the explosion he was in.
Yeah, the giant explosion.
Yeah, he walked it off.
Of course. Well, he was still in the cane though. He was still in that cane though. So
yeah.
Whatever. Donald Pleasance is a real man's man.
Not okay.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point they were just like, I think 4 and 5 years, just like we're gonna have fun with this. Which is fine. It's a good take. I enjoyed the movie. It's very rewatchable. I could watch it again, after I leave this stream easily. So it's pretty good. Just the mask's terrible.
Okay. Is this the one? Sorry, just while I remember, is this the one that's either 4 or 5, where you already have some of the townsfolk going after him?
They're going after him in Part 4.
Yeah,
in Part 4, yeah, because that was one thing which I liked about it, because they kind of do that again in Kills. They just expand on it majorly, and I always thought that was a cool idea. Anyway, I'll get to that later.
Yeah, no, okay. So Gray, your 6th favorite?
I'm going with the most recent one, Halloween Kills. It was fun. Like I like it for what it was. I mean, I like the whole idea of like what the Action Elite was saying. Like the townspeople getting together and going after Michael Myers. but the fact that he killed all of them was totally took me out of it. Like, you're telling me that no one, like 30 people, cannot take down this guy. Okay, but I like it because it really made me think about how they should do horror movies now. Like the first one, the killer dies. The second one, the killer wins. And then the third one, that could be whatever.
Right.
Like, you got to make, I mean, that's the way you do horror movies nowadays. You got to make them into like mini trilogies. And no, naturally make them trilogies. That's the way they do it.
Yeah, you hit a good point there, because this is the first time in the franchise where someone's had a longer than one movie vision.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the times it's like, okay, John Carpenter's like, we're making Halloween Part 1. That's it. We're done. We're making it, and that's it. And then someone's like, well, we got to continue this. It made money. Then they're like, okay, it's done. Michael is dead. Let's make this into an anthology series. That didn't work. They're like, okay, let's bring it back. But nobody brought it back. They brought it back in Part 4 to have Jamie go crazy and say that he's possessed Jamie. And then they're like, no, I don't like that. The next guy, this is like the Star Wars. Every director came in and said, no, I don't like this. I'm doing a different thing.
Right.
So this 2018 Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, this is the first time we've had someone thinking ahead, saying, no, this is the complete package of what I want to present. I appreciate that from those guys. Okay, so we're into the top 5 now. So my 5th favorite is Halloween 5. Okay. The thing with Halloween 5 is that it was my most watched one because I had it first on VHS. That was the first one I got on VHS. And right from the credits, like it's like the knife is cutting the pumpkin while the credits are going. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
I like that.
Jamie, hot take. Are you ready? Jamie Lloyd is my favorite, like, non-Michael Myers character. Jamie over Laurie. That could be a super mega hot take.
Wow.
But I absolutely. Yeah.
Why all she does is scream and cry?
Well, she's
Why is she a good character?
Man, like,
she's a little kid.
Scared. What do you mean? I be crying.
Yeah, but why does that make her a good character though?
Yeah.
She's a little kid, and she's a tough little kid. I know they say it in Part 5 100 times, but it's like she's a tough little kid. I love when she goes mute and she's all mute in this one. Then she comes back and she can see and she's trying to explain what's going on. Danielle Harris has so much to do in this movie, and it's a lot of rough stuff. Like, people are throwing her down that in Part 5. They're throwing her down that chute, and it's like he's like stabbing her as she's trying to crawl up. She goes into that coffin. Like, I'm thinking here, being the director, that Dominique, whatever his name is, and he's like, oh, your daughter, to Mrs. Harris and Mr. Harris, we want your daughter to be thrown into this laundry chute and or the garbage chute. He's going to be stabbing her. It's like, okay, and then we're going to put her in this coffin. And then the professor's and then Loomis is gonna hold her up, saying, "Come get her, come get her." And I'm just thinking, what is happening? Like, who is this person? Like, she went through a lot for this movie. She has been instead Jamie Lee now maybe, but Danielle Harris has always been an ambassador for the Halloween series.
Yeah.
She's been promoting it. That's her shtick. And she's in the Hatchet films as well. She's great in the Hatchet films.
Yeah.
But I like her. I don't know. I think she's very cute. She's a cute little girl. And I just thought she was awesome. And Part 5, the mask is a bit weird. I like Michael. The ending was killer. I know it's a bit contrived now. Oh, he escapes with it. But dude, when that ending happened, I was like, holy crap. Like, this man in black guy just like, what is happening here? He just rescued Michael. This is crazy.
It's about to get real.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Real bad.
cops, man, you could edit out the sound effects. Like, it's a group, and Rachel dying was really upsetting. And replaced with Tina, who was nobody. There was a girl in Part 4 who picks up Rachel to drop her off at the store, and they go for ice cream, and that's not Tina, but they could have just made it that character, because that character survives Halloween 4, and then it would have linked it to 4. But they brought Tina in. You're like, who is this character? And she's kind of annoying. And it's like, she's not a real person. She's like, boop doo doo ba 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 ba, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And then the cops comes and bing bing boing boing. I'm like, what's going on in this movie? And she's like, Mike, that's right. It's like, I'm talking to you. Hello, nothing. I don't get it. This is what I get. Nothing. I'm like, who is this person? It's not a human being. if that actress ever says something, I'm definitely gonna meet her and get a photo with her, just because she's such a weird character, and I feel bad that people make fun of her. But I like Halloween 5. It's a guilty pleasure. Watching it again, it's not the greatest of movies, but it's passable for me as a Halloween movie. There's some okay kills. So that's my number 5. My number 5 is number 5. Owen, you're next. What's your number 5?
2018 is my next one. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 3.5 5. I thought it sort of it captured the spirit of the original. I didn't like the crazy Laurie. I prefer Laurie in H2O, which we'll get to. But I thought it was good. A guy got Michael stomps a guy's head like a watermelon. That's literally the best scene in it, and I was like, that's awesome. So that was one of my favorite Michael kills. The music is cool. I really like the score. I like that opening scene, just when they're in the asylum and he's holding the mask and you've got the dogs barking. It's just building up the tension, and then it cuts to the opening credits. And I was like, oh, I like this. This is really cool. It's quite different. And I like how it just sort of introduces characters who were there back in 1978. And like I said, it just feels like a proper follow-up. And I've watched it quite a few times as well on the Blu-ray. I've watched it probably more than I've watched Halloween 4 or 5 recently. So I think it's actually because of 2018 and Halloween Kills that I'm now not as fond of the Jamie trilogy now. So which is quite interesting. I hate the Doctor storyline about him. You know, it was all his thing and putting him on the mask and all that stuff. I thought that was dumb. But the finale of. I thought the finale of H2O worked better. I was like, oh, you know what? Let's just set the house on fire. No, cut his fucking head off. Because that's how you're going to stop him. He's not going to get up from that. So that made more sense. So, yeah. 2018 is the next one.
I know. They just wanted to dance. Okay, so 2018. Yep. Sean, what's your next one?
My number 5 is the one that came out this year.
Kills.
Halloween Kills.
All right.
Halloween Kills. That's what it does. Anyway.
You took that from me, and when I took that from Machete, anytime they say Machete
No, I
kills,
took that from Machete. It's like Machete kills.
No,
that's what he does. Yeah.
No, but I took it. I stole that and applied it to other things besides Machete.
Jason kills. Freddy kills.
That's what he does. Yeah, look,
Alec Baldwin kills. Sorry.
I think this movie's getting some hate now for some reason. I think it's awesome. Look, Michael Myers versus those firefighters. Michael Myers versus that car full of people one by one. Michael Myers versus those kids. Michael Myers versus Little John and Big John. Michael Myers versus the whole town. It's just cool.
He kills the town.
He's the destroying guys. He improvised a freaking like a light weapon to like to spear that one woman. It's neat. I thought it was it's just they're trying to deliver as many kills as possible, which is something movies don't really do anymore. The creative kills that are all mega special effects and everything. I liked all of the characters too. People always complain, I didn't care about anyone, like I didn't care about anyone, so I didn't care about this slasher movie. It's like he's just slashing people. But I cared about everyone he was slashing, and it's like they really built up everyone in a very short amount of time. And you're like, oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this person. Oh, I like this couple here and this other couple and everything. Like the one woman who's like swearing like it's like, oh, motherfucker, and she's trying to leave and everything. Everything is great. All those characters are great. The whole mob rule thing is something that they've always sort of touched upon the other movies, but really brought to a head here. It had to be done in one of the movies. I don't know. I just think Halloween Kills is great. It's my number 5.
All right, Steve, number 5.
It's part 5. It's Revenge of Michael Myers.
You ranked it above 4.
I rank it above 4. You showed this to me. I just like the Jamie thing being mute was genius. This movie is completely mad, and I love it for its madness. I love, they go back to the Myers house, and all of a sudden it's like a friggin' castle. It's got a turret in that, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is not the Michael Myers house. Castle. What are you guys doing? It's complete. Like the garbage, the laundry chute thing is crazy.
Yeah.
Donald Pleasance is absolutely bonkers in the entire thing, and I love him for it. The kill with the pitchfork through the two people having sex was genius.
Oh, yeah.
Love that scene. I even love the stupid cops, the sound effect. It makes sense to me because the entire movie is crazy, but I love it for it's not a negative to me at all. There's not like it is so much fun to watch this movie. I get why J-Man you watch it so much. When you show it to me, I'm like, oh my god, I would have been watching this a ton as a kid because it's just like, hey, this is fun. This is fun. This is really neat. This is fun. Is it make sense? No, but it doesn't matter. Like at this point, nothing made sense to me anymore with the Halloween series. So I'm like, this movie embraced the insanity of what the Halloween franchise had become, and I appreciate that. It's kind of a bit like in a lesser way, the Batman and Robin thing, where I'm like, they went all crazy with this. Okay, I can respect that. At least they chose a direction. I don't like directionless films and franchises. That's why Batman Forever is my worst one. I love the fact that this movie is so much fun, and Danielle Harris literally acts her heart out. She is the linchpin. She is the cornerstone of this movie, and there's nothing that shows her presence more than this film. Acting without being able to speak is incredibly hard for an actor, and she nailed it. So
yeah, no, she's awesome. Yeah, I really like her a lot. It's
Yeah.
I don't know, I just think she's so cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so Gray, your fifth favorite.
Halloween 2018.
2018, yes.
Okay, it was fun, but the reason, oh god, okay, I like Jamie too. I love that character. I've been kind of holding out hope that they were gonna try to tie the original ones with the H2O to just kind of like tie it up into like, it's like, listen, we're all about the continuity now. If you want to understand what's going on, watch it from the beginning. Just do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when they didn't, it broke my heart again. And that's what. So, but Halloween 2018, it's a good movie. I like the fact they came back to Laurie. They tried to. I do like her in H2O, but you know, it's number 5.
Yep, yeah, like I like H2O. I think H2O Laurie makes the most sense
Mm-hmm.
for the character of Laurie Strode. That she was awesome in it, and H2O would rank much higher if Michael did a bit more things than he. I just don't like seeing his eyes and stuff. It's just weird. But yeah, 2018 is a good movie. Like I don't think anyone's going to really dispute it. These are all like we're in the top half of the series now, so they're all pretty good. Okay, let's get into number 4. So my fourth favorite is Halloween Kills. That I mean, like it's just awesome. There's so many kills. Michael Myers is on fire, literally and figuratively. The people getting pissed off at this movie are pissing me off now because I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
What are they saying?
Well, they're saying a lot of bunch of dumbassery things. As people usually say, it's like, I don't care about the characters. I cared about all the characters. I thought they were all interesting. Every character had a couple of little quick things that were defining. You know, there's the couple in the beginning, and he kills her with the lights, and I just replaced my lights the day before I saw that movie. Like, oh my god! I'm like, that's so weird. Because it's like in 15 years, they last a long time. Those LED, the long ones. Mm-hmm. I hadn't replaced them in 14 years. I replaced them the day, and I'm like, oh my god, he killed someone. I just threw those in the garbage. I'm like, I could have, you know. I love bringing back Kyle Richards. I love bringing back like all those characters. It's like Tommy Doyle, like saying, "We're gonna kick ass." And the fact that people were complaining, saying, well, it's Laurie's in the hospital. I'm like, I know, she's recovering. These people, like, we're supposed to be an enlightened film audience now, which is, we know that this is a trilogy. We know Michael wins in the end. This is not as good as Empire Strikes Back, but I'm saying this is the Empire Strikes Back of this series. This is where Michael wins. He wins in the end just so that it can end in the next one, right? And I like the fact that they had other characters because it can't always just be Laurie. they introduced other characters and they gave that sheriff guy a backstory and they tied it in with part one. They showed you how he was captured, which we've never seen. We've never seen Michael captured after the first movie, because even in Halloween 4, like at the end of Halloween 2, you're just like, oh, he's killed. But in Halloween 4, they're like, oh,
You thought he was dead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're just transferring. We're like, okay, this movie showed it. That first opening 13 minutes is amazing. The way they've replicated the original Halloween. I could have watched the whole movie of that. Michael is awesome. This guy's my second favorite Michael after part one. Jude, what's his name? Jude Courtney. Yeah, he's literally my second favorite Michael. Easy. It's like Nick Castle, Jude. Boom. Like that's like super easy to call. This mask is my second favorite mask. Like the 2018 Halloween Kills, those two masks are my favorite masks out, except for the original. I think it's a great movie. It's genius. The only reason in that you can tell by process of elimination what my top three are. It's going to be very easy to do my top three. My top three, I'll explain why the third one beats this one, and I'll explain why when I get to it. But yeah, Halloween Kills is awesome, man. I've seen it like 4 times. I think it's genius. So people getting mad at it, it's like, well, what do you want? They're like, oh, this whole mob. It's like, well, okay, it's a thing. And they kept saying that, like, why is the mob so pissed off? We only killed 3 people. No, the mob is formed after 2018. How are they forgetting 2018? He killed a shit ton of people in 2018, and everyone's coming to the hospital.
They think it's set in 2021, so they don't know this is happening in the same night.
This is the same night, right? This is the 2018, and this are the same time.
Yeah.
And remember the couple that were the nurse and the doctor? They're from 2018. And you see them going to the party at the beginning of 2018. And he's like, oh, I forgot my stethoscope. And he runs back in. Then he comes back out. And then they go to that bar. And then that's them in the bar in the second one. There's a lot of continuity in this. It's right. Okay, so who we on? Owen, your fourth favorite.
For me, it is H2O. Because for me, Halloween H2O captures the spirit of the original, which none of the other sequels have. And I thought the original Halloween is slow to start. Like nothing happens. It's him stalking people, and that's what this is. It's him sort of walking around, standing, watching people, and generally fucking with people, and that's what Michael is best at. This one doesn't rely on gore. It's like the original. There are some good kills, but it's never over the top. I love that Laurie is basically got PTSD. She's trying to hide her alcoholism and everything, even though she's an upstanding member of the community. I love that whole aspect of it. I like how she has this bad relationship with her son, Josh Hartnett, who, because she can't let go, because she's obsessed and he just wants to have a normal life. So I like that angle. And actually, I like Josh Hartnett. I think he's cool. I don't like his hair, but the masks are weird in this though, because there's like all kinds of different ones, and apparently they were like messed with CGI, and at times it's a bit weird. I love the orchestral version of the score in the opening credits, but there must have been some kind of copyright issues regarding this movie though, because I have the score on CD by John Ottman, but it's called Portrait of Terror, and they couldn't call it Halloween. So I think there was money involved, because I know John Carpenter was supposed to come back to direct it, and he asked for a 3-picture deal and like a few $1 million or something, and they said no, and it fell through for whatever reason. But yeah, for me, this one feels like a genuine sequel. Somebody finally in a horror movie realizes he cut his head off, and I was like, it's about bloody time you cut the guy's head off. Like, why has nobody ever thought of doing that before? And to me, like that's why Resurrection shouldn't have existed. And I thought, no, that was a great ending for the franchise. And if they'd ended it there and they didn't do any others, that would have been fine with me. Like I have the original script to it, and it's quite different. And the ending takes place where it's in the gym in the swimming pool, and Laurie throws a javelin at Michael, and he gets impaled by the javelin and falls into the swimming pool, and she closes the lid over in the pool, and he drowns in the pool.
Oh gosh!
Wow,
that's quite different. I've got a script somewhere. If I can find it, Jay and guys, I'll give it to you. I got it years ago, so I always liked Halloween H2O because it felt, like a Halloween movie. And then you got the opening scene with the nurse as well, and then Joseph Gordon-Levitt with an ice skate in his face.
Yeah,
that's awesome as well. I actually like LL Cool J, and I think he's funny. I like the whole phone call with his wife and everything. I just think that's funny. It's just like this nice bit of humor, but it's not. But there's not too much humor. I thought they get just the right amount. There's no like stupid music for comedy cops or anything. So yeah, Halloween H2O. I still don't understand why it's called H2O because there's nothing watery. But
it's supposed to be like Halloween 20 years later.
I know,
but
yes.
like,
But H2O is water. You're like,
right. It was a marketing decision.
Yeah.
But no, Owen, you solved the problem. The
Yeah,
original script.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, because that's how he dies is through H2O.
Right. So that, and then that was very clever, but now that didn't happen. So now it just seems weird.
You know, it's so stupid.
Okay, Sean, your fourth favorite
is number 4. Yeah, Halloween 4. Like, I've always loved it. I loved it as a kid, and it holds up to me today as just a what I think of when I think of a Michael Myers movie. The look and feel of it. And that's probably because I saw it like many times as a kid. It's awesome. There's a lot of cool kills in it, and I think he crushes some guy's head at one point, and around that time I realized that he's more of a supernatural killer than just a slasher and everything. So yeah, I say 4 is number 4, man.
Okay, Steve, your fourth favorite
is number 3, Season of the Witch. Yeah, it's not Michael Myers isn't there, but like as a standalone film, it's pretty cool. That jingle, it starts out and you're like, this is fucking annoying, man. But by the end, you're like, holy shit, I'm like, I can't get this out of my head. Like it becomes disturbing because you keep seeing it over and over again. Tom Atkins is great as always. That guy was like the unsung like lead of horror films. I think like he's just awesome in it. There's nothing like I like the investigation, trying to figure out what's going on. That ending is crazy. That just he's a warlock and like just the you don't like to what you said earlier, like you don't know if the signal got out or not. So you're like, oh my God, like this could have happened. The only thing that I don't like about it is in the movie they show a TV spot for the first Halloween movie. I hate that. I absolutely hate that because now you're basically saying in this film the events in part 1 and part 2 then by recourse didn't happen. I thought
why it's called Halloween.
Yeah, it's like if I think it would have been cool if they did a Halloween anthology series all in the same universe where
they did
like
that.
they could have done
they
that.
did that. They call it Trick or Treat.
Right. Well,
man.
But like if they had done that, that would have been cool. But they basically eliminated that. It's also like, in a way, to me, it's saying the events in the first film were fictional. This is what really happened on Halloween. I don't like that. Like they could have just, I would have preferred if they did like a TV thing and they're like, oh, all these murders happened in Haddonfield and all that. That would have been cool because that would have.
They all got pinned on Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Oh wow. That's
but
really cool.
I mean, as a film, this movie is really great. And it's very jarring. Like those frigging masks creep me the hell out. I can't describe it. Like they're just simple masks, but they just look so weird to me. Really good film.
Okay. Gray, what's your fourth favorite?
Fourth favorite, I'm going with 5.
Yeah,
it was fun. It like it's scary, like just when they tried to say that Jamie had powers and I should like see right through. Like it's funny. Yeah. You guys basically said most of it, but like it was fun. But I felt like they were building to something else.
Right.
Like, Person Michael Myers was not supposed to be that end result. That's just me. But number four is 5.
Number 4 is 5. Okay, all right. My third favorite is part 4. Part 4 is like a perfect film, except for the mask doesn't look that good. I wish there was some world where they could have used this Halloween Kills mask or whatever in part 4, because I think part 4 is a masterpiece. I'll tell you why. Lots of points. First of all, the entire opening is completely awesome, as Steve pointed out. I think when the music starts up, the town is filled with real people. There's no Jason victims. They're all real teenagers. And Owen, you had pointed out that Rachel was like, "Oh, I want to go out," but that's what a girl would be doing who has a boyfriend, right? Laurie never had a boyfriend. She was looking for one, so that's why she was willing to babysit.
She was an interesting character. Yeah, she was different.
It's like Rachel, does have the boyfriend, but she comes through. She does go with Jamie. She goes back and apologizes. It's only in the beginning where she's saying, "Oh," and then Jamie over here, she's like, "Crap," and she goes, "Look, I'm sorry." And then she does go with her, and she does go back and say, "Look, I'm taking my niece out," and she does care about her. I also feel that this was the only movie except for part 1. Part 1 and part 4 are the only movies that have jump scares for me. None of the rest do. None of them do. Part 4 is the only one, and there's a couple in there that are very good. I just felt that everybody was a real person. They're real people. They're characters. The town felt real. It looks awesome. I like the shots. The music is good. I just wish the mask. I would rank this probably number 2 if that mask was just better. The ending is completely shocking. When Jamie wears the thing, you're like, "Oh, this is so awesome. This is crazy." And then she stabs the stepsister. Like, "Oh man, this is awesome." And then they just inflated that in part 5, but whatever. Part 5 is just like a fun movie. But I love part 4. I think it's awesome. I don't know. I'm okay with the mask even, because it's like I've seen it so many times, and it's just such a well-made movie. This is a guy who's like, "Look, we need to bring back Michael Myers." He's like, "Yeah, but I want to make a real movie. I don't want this to be over-the-top gore fest. I want it to be Michael creeping around, doing stuff, following people, just like what you're saying, Owen, for H2O, just like what we kind of want. But I also want to have, more, they're not relatable characters. It just feels like a picture of a town. Like you might say, "Oh, I'm more pumped up for Laurie rather than Rachel. I like Laurie more than Rachel because you can connect with her more." But Rachel still feels like a real person. Everybody feels like real people. Even the jerk boyfriend, he's like, "Look, you canceled on me. I don't know. This girl wants to go out with me, and she's hot." And it's like, "Yeah, well, whatever." Like
it's Kathleen Kinmont. I'd cheat as well.
Sorry?
It's Kathleen Kinmont. I'd cheat as well.
Yeah. And he's not like an obnoxious piece of trash boyfriend who's like, "F you, I don't want to." Like, "I'm not hanging out with you. You're a loser." It's like he's not nobody's obnoxious. I actually genuinely think everyone is a real character. They tried to get actors who could try to actually act as characters. And it was some shocking stuff. I liked Rachel, and her and Jamie fighting him off in that, like, that whole end sequence is super pumped. And then the townspeople are like, "You know what? This has gone on for not long enough. We're taking this guy out." Halloween Kills had that, but Halloween 4 had that. Halloween 4 is what everything stole from.
Yeah.
Everything that was good in all the other movies came from Halloween 4. When we walked out of the 2018 movie, my first response is, "How is this better than Halloween 4? It's just the same thing, right?" That's my thing. Now, there's no Laurie in it. That was the only problem with that. But I love part 4. Anyways, that's enough about part 4. And what's your third favorite?
It's Halloween Kills. I loved Halloween Kills. I pretty much loved everything about it. Whenever people are giving it bad reviews, and I'm like, why? It's like the characters. There's so many great, interesting characters and everything, and it continues on nicely, like you said from the last one. I love the whole storyline of the town rising up, and that Michael has really corrupted the town. He doesn't even need to do anything. He's already poisoned the town, and evil doesn't die tonight. It just expands into all of them, and the whole town basically becomes evil. And I love the whole end sequence where he just like kills the entire town, and Wednesday just like, this is amazing. The first 15 minutes is probably my favorite piece of footage from any Halloween movie since the original. It really captured the spirit of the original, like I was saying how H2O did. I just thought it was really cool. Loved the music. The kills were incredible. The only scene which just went a bit too far is the scene with the old couple where he's like repeatedly stabbing the old guy on the table, and I'm like, that's maybe just a bit too much. But aside from that, everything is good.
Yeah, this was not easy. The bottom ones were easy. in the order of the bottom ones were tough, but this was tough because I love Halloween Kills. I only put 4 above Kills, just for the simple fact that it kind of came out first, and
Yeah,
without
different.
Halloween, a lot of the good things from the other movies borrowed elements from Part 4. And I know they only introduced them in Part 4 just quickly, and then these other movies expanded on them, but 4 still introduced. That's the only reason. Halloween Kills is awesome. Like, we're talking like high quality, good slasher flick, geniusness. But okay, Sean, your third favorite.
My third favorite is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yep.
The one without Michael Myers. So yeah, I mean, listen, I think it should still be counted as a Halloween movie because that was part of the franchise. And it's about Halloween. Look, this movie grew on me. I think it grew on a lot of people because it didn't have Michael Myers. And when you're a kid, you're like, well, if there's no Michael Myers after this movie, like, what is this crap?
Right.
They played it a lot on TV. I'm surprised how many times they play it on TV. It was on all the time on WTV Buffalo 29 over here, right? So, and then it became Fox, and they still played it. But yeah, I think it's just weird. I mean, the fact that you would think that the premise of this movie is that when a signal goes out through the TV, your mask explodes. That's not what happens. It turns into creepy, crawly, venomous insects, and those kill you, which is weird. And all that comes from a little fleck of stone from Stonehenge, which becomes it's so strange, and it's like but it's like the kind of strange that sticks under your skin and you think about it, and it's creepy, and it's Halloweeny, and the fact that they have like robot guys that crush people's heads and stuff, that's another weird element. It's off the beaten path, but like as you get older and you start to appreciate these movies on a different level, Halloween 3 is right up there with me. It's pretty awesome. It's creepy. It's a great Halloween movie, to watch in the Halloween season. So yeah, it's number 3 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Halloween 3.
Yeah,
what it is. I think it's great. Okay, Steve, I'm assuming it's Halloween Kills.
You're right. I mean, that movie's genius. And it's someone who gave thought to what Michael Myers is. He's the boogeyman, right? So I love how everyone who sort of doubts his power or doubts his existence, or that they're the ones who get killed. And I even like the scene. I remember this distinctly in the theater when they were chasing the guy in the hospital, and I recall someone in the audience said, why don't they see it's not Michael Myers? He's not wearing the mask. But Michael Myers is the boogeyman. No one knows what the boogeyman looks like. Michael Myers is this legend. No one actually knows what he looks like, right? So to them, anyone could be Michael Myers. I really love that concept. I love the concept of the town, like he kills the entire town. Like, I love that idea. Like, they unearthed, Kyle Richards to play Lindsay. Like, that was something else. They unearthed, well, he wasn't the original actor, but they unearthed Anthony Michael Hall to play Tommy. That's great. They even remembered Lonnie. So Lonnie was the kid who picked on him, and then he got picked on in this one, which was sort of like saying, well, he also was bullied. And then they become friends when they're older, when they're adults. I love that idea. Yeah. This movie loved the first film. I felt the love a lot more than I did with the 2018 Halloween movie. It just, Laurie's back in the hospital. I'm like, that's where she was in part 2, which I liked because she's helpless. The one person who can probably do something about Michael is incapacitated. And next to her is the other person who can do something about Michael, who is Will Patton, the sheriff. So this is what happens when authority breaks down, is that you get mob rule. So it's such an intelligent way of looking at it, which is probably what people don't want. They don't want intelligence. Just like, well, I don't get this. I thought it was so well conceived. The Big John, Little John. I like the fact that Little John is tall and Big John is short. I don't know. There's absolutely nothing to dislike about this movie. I like the interracial couple, and she's flying a drone. I don't know why, but I love that scene where she's trying to get up with the times. Like I don't know. Like it's awesome, man. There's not one moment in that movie where I sat there and said, "This is dumb to me." I loved it from beginning to end.
All right. Yeah, no. I mean, Halloween Kills. It's funny too because so far everyone's except for Greymalkin. Oh no, and Sean hasn't. But Owen and Steve, you guys have ranked it higher than me, and coming out of the theater, I was the most excited out of
Yeah.
But that just shows you how much I love. Like my favorite top 5, 6 Halloween movies. It's like I super love them. You can almost put them in any order. But okay, so great. It's either H2O or Part 4 or Part 1 is your next best.
Wow, like such a list.
Part
Hot
4?
takes. No, actually, I'm going with number 4. I like number 4. I like the beginning, when like they load Michael onto that on that ambulance, and he just prouts up and he just puts his thumb through that guy's head. You're like, wow, that was like. Couldn't you just slapped him around and just like, do you have to kill the people in the ambulance? They don't know what's going on. This is just a regular day for them. And then that lady just screaming. You're like, you could have just left. Could have just like, I'm out. No, but I really like Amy. I just and Loomis. Oh my God, Dr. Loomis is so yes. This we were seeing the descent of his madness, but like anytime he talks to another head of a psychiatric ward, they always act like, no, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh God. And plus, J-Man, you said this does seem like it's a soft reboot, or else it's like they're building on what's already been done, and the other movies do take a little bit from this, but I really like the fact before we even get to the kills, we see the kills in the beginning with but we also get to see Jamie and Tracy just being kids. Like we see Jamie in school, like trying to talk to people about what's going on, and also can we talk about the mask in 4? Like what was all the weird poofy hair? Like
I know it's weird.
Like he just comes out and he's so white. It's like the mask was painted white. Like
yeah,
geez,
it is a new mask though. He did steal a brand new mask from the store where Brady worked, whatever. And that is there. And also I want to point out that Michael Myers is completely dormant until they start going through his next of kin and stuff. They're like, oh, Lori. It's like, no, she passed away. It's like, oh, but she had a daughter, Jamie, and then all of a sudden, that's it, right?
Yeah,
like,
that
triggered. It's like he's like, I'm back. It's like, I'm back, baby, Jamie. I gotta get Jamie. I love that she's named Jamie for Jamie Lee Curtis. That's kind of cool, right? The name of Jamie. Okay. All right, so that's part 4. Okay, well, the top 2. Well, my number 2 is number 2, obviously, because it just continues from part 1. It's almost like it could be seen as one film.
It's the same movie for me.
Yeah.
Like, if you really look at a lot of these movies, like 1 and 2, 4 and 5, 18 and Kills, they're all essentially one half the same movie.
Yeah, and that's something that the Friday 13th films never really captured.
No,
they would change actors, or Jason would look different, or it wouldn't even be Jason, right? Stuff like that. But part 2 is a great movie anyway. I love the hospital scene. Visiting Hours is another great hospital scene movie. I like, I like hospital stuff. Jamie's a little bit. I'm not Jamie. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, but Laurie is a little bit sidelined slightly. It's and the sister. Look, Halloween 2 is awesome. It's got nudity, gore. That's what it's like. That's what we need.
1980. Of course it did.
Right, which is what I want, right?
The good old days.
The reason why I like Halloween Kills is like there's no nudity in it, but there's good kills. So it's like I need both. I need both in there. But Halloween 2 is great. But it's going to be number 2 for most of us, judging by where we're at, except for Gray, who it's going to be H2O is your second favorite, I'm assuming, unless you think it's better than part 1, which would be the
you never know, man.
That'll be the hottest take in the universe.
Either way.
But Laurie Strode being the sister, I don't like that idea. However, they ran with it, so I have no choice but to accept it. I didn't like that idea. I don't think I saw Halloween 2 first. I saw how I think I saw Halloween 1 first, and then I saw part 5, and then I saw part 4, and then I saw part 2, and then I saw part 3, and then I saw the rest in order as they came out. But when I saw part 2, and I already knew that she was the sister, so it wasn't a thing, right? Because it was already established because I had seen part 5. But I thought it was weird. Like, it's just like, why is this happening? Like, I like the idea that Michael Myers just randomly picks people and goes to Haddonfield and kills them all or whatever. So it not being in Haddonfield is a little bit weird, but the hospital's kind of cool. So that's it. Okay, so Owen, what's your number 2?
Well, obviously, Halloween 2. Like you said, it continues on from the first movie. Also, this is the first movie where they mentioned druids, so it sort of sets up the Jamie trilogy. So the plans to see there mentioning Sam Hain. That's what they should have called the third movie, Sam Hain. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some great kills. I think once again, one of the like nastiest kills is him drowning the woman in the scalding hot tub, and her face is like coming off. That's such a brutal scene. They got Leo Rossi in that as well, and I love his "Amazing Grace, come sit on my face." Love that, and this was blasphemy. The only thing I don't like, I think the score is the most dated sounding of all of them. It's okay, but I find it like hard to listen to. It's a bit too plinky plonky keyboardy sounding. I love Donald Pleasance in it. I'm still not sure about the sister angle either. I sort of like the idea that he's just a force of nature and just kills because he does, not because he has to kill his family for whatever reason. Right. But it does set up the other movies, because like without that, then you wouldn't have all the later ones.
Yeah.
What else about 2? Because it just feels like the rest of the first movie. It's like the second half of the first movie, basically. Donald Pleasance blowing up, but still surviving. And then what else? Apparently, Dana Carvey is in this movie from Wayne's World. Who is he? It says he's the assistant, and I've never seen him, and I've watched this movie 100 times, and I don't know who he is.
I think he was the guy in the ambulance, one of the ambulance at the end, who's like when they're taking.
Okay.
I think he's one of the ambulance guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yes, there he is. He's the guy with the goofy, the blue hat and the he's got that what's it called, that vest? It's like that's the life preserver. I want to call it the life preserver.
Yeah, the orange vest.
Yeah, but it's a blue one in this one. Get a load of this dork's life preserver.
Oh yeah,
you guys life preserver. The dork thinks he's gonna drown. Yeah, so that's him. I mean, you would never recognize that just by watching it. There's no way.
I found the video on YouTube. I'm watching it now. God.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not even a point in like mentioning that that's anything. Like you can't even. Yeah, you can barely tell.
Yeah.
All right. So okay. So Sean, number 2
is part 2. Because like 1 and 2, as you say, is it feels like one movie. I will say that 2 feels like the more sensational kills. Like that's when the bigger kills are coming into fashion, and because of that, I always thought 1 was more brutal than it really is. But yeah, I think the biggest kill in that movie isn't even Michael Myers. Is that one guy gets destroyed by that car? He gets like crushed against another car and it blows up. It's like, what the hell is this? Like, god damn, you guys are bigger monsters than Michael Myers. And I guess that was the point. But like, but yeah, no, there's a lot of syringe deaths in this one. There's like at least 3 or something syringe deaths in this movie. He's pumped up for syringes in this one, and he hooks someone and lifts them up with his own with one arm, which shows right there that he's supernatural. Like that's crazy. Right. But yeah, no, it's awesome. Like standalone, like and not watching it with number 1, it's a wicked like little movie to watch on Halloween. The one kid that has the razor blade in his mouth.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great. It's cool, man. Yeah, that's my number 2.
All right, Steve, number 2.
Oh yeah. I think I saw it back to back from part 1. My mom showed me 1 and 2. It's it's not without its warts. I don't like how Dick Warlock walks as Michael Myers. I know that's sort of a weird thing, but he walks a bit like a tank to me. And Michael Myers was more like, like liquid. That's the only way I can think I do it. He's very sleek. And I feel Dick Warlock was more like, bigger. Like if it just felt like that.
On the plus side, his name's Dick Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I was about to say.
And he knows where Rory is because he passes by some guy who's got the news on the boombox. I found that was kind of funny for some reason. But like, you basically have the heroine like incapacitate the entire film. I love the scene for some reason where she's all huddled in the car, and then the guy comes in and he just like plonks down his head on the wheel, and like the horn goes off, and it's just like, it's just like a Michael Myers beacon. And she's like, I that guy having a concussion for some reason. And how he gets it too, he slips in the room because Michael drained the nurse. Like all her blood is literally on the floor. And I'm like, what the hell? The scalpel death is crazy to me. When he lifts the nurse up and literally like you see her shoes come off, and then the rest of her comes like 1 second afterwards. Yeah, it'd be interesting that we'll see to see who wins. I kind of gotta give it to Michael though, because he can just appear wherever he wants. But
you can't be bargained with. You can't be reasoned with.
It's pretty much the same thing. I don't like the sister thing either, just because it's a contrivance to me. It's too convenient. But whatever. I'm not. It's not a what do you call it? It's not a.
Also, if you really think about the age range between all the children. Judy Myers, Michael, and Lori. Like that's 16 years between children.
You'd have to think too, like did they conceive her after Michael killed his sister? Like that would be weird, right? Like a lot of marriages end after the death of a child, not like more children pop out.
Yeah, but we need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah. But it's a really good film. It feels a lot like part 2. The ending is explosive, and I love that shot where Michael's on the ground and the flames are coming out from his mask and it's playing Mr. Sandman. Like I don't know, it's a really good film.
And they played Mr. Sandman in Rob Zombie's thing. I don't know why they want to remind you of better movies. It's like, okay, Gray, your choices between 1 and 2 is H2O and number 1. So H2O is your second best?
Yeah, H2O. All right, first, it was like my first Halloween movie going in because it came out in like 1998 and I just hit 13. So like I was really excited about it. I looked at like I watched everything leading up to it, like all the making of, I knew everything. Fun fact: the lady who played Laurie Strode's assistant was her mother, but she was also in Psycho.
Yeah.
So like
Janet Leigh.
Yeah. So I thought, I was like, that's cool. That's really George Sigourney, love it. Like it's a blink and you miss it cameo, but it's really fun. And then when you find a layer with that skate in his face.
It's a skating cameo.
It's also, I think the best death in that movie was that girl who got her leg caught in the dumbwaiter.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was just like dragged.
You're
you're not gonna make it, but like go. And then when they found her, apparently Michael was slit that light bulb inside her. So it's like, you did more work on her after she was dead? What's wrong with you?
He's decorating his house with her.
Right? And I thought it was the perfect ending because, they did the Thor thing, aimed for the head. And I'm like, boom, he's dead. which is why I don't like Resurrection. You find out like he kidnapped some guy.
Yes.
And, like, he's like, wouldn't he like rip the data like, no, don't kill me.
Well, I mean, also, like, just about H2O, sorry, I forgot to say this, but I love how the fight between Laurie and Michael, and she fucks him up at the end. She's like stabbing away, and it's just brutal. She just like basically becomes Michael, and I just love that, just how she just goes all out, and it's just like, no, I'm not running anymore. I'm going to kick this guy's ass. And whenever she shouts, Michael, and then the music comes on, and I was like,
Right?
the 2018 movie never has a moment like that, where you're just like, yes. And I love that scene.
Oh, okay. Well, my favorite part. After Laurie finds the kids and like Michael's like he's like 20 feet away. He's just kind of coming in at a slow jogger stride. Because they didn't have the keys. And you remember that part in the horror movies, like it takes them like forever to find the right key.
Yeah.
And then like they get in, and then you saw that stare down between Michael and Laurie. Like, okay, yeah, this is good. I'm having fun. But yeah, number 2, H2O.
Yeah, H2O ranks high with people. They do. I don't know. I don't know why it's so low for me. Like, it's just I couldn't. I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Like, I watched it again just recently. Like, wow, there's a lot of silly jumps where people are walking up saying, hey. And I'm like, why is this happening? Like, nobody does this. Like, 1 or 2 is fun.
It happens in every horror movie, though.
No, I know 1 or 2, but there was a lot of them. It felt like, and I'm just like, okay, but they weren't scary anyway. I'm like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
that was the trend back then. I find,
Yeah.
like, Species did that a lot for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah,
It was Kevin Williamson wrote it, who did Screams or
Right,
things
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So it was trying to be sort of cool
But
and
also,
edgy.
like, I think they were trying to show that these kids, like, they're kids. They do dumb stuff, like how they how all 4 of them stay behind. It's kind of brilliant. Like, you at a boarding school, you would, like, if you didn't want to go, you would say, "Oh, I didn't bring in my permission slip." Like, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
But I mean, the guys like, oh, yeah, I don't want to go to Yosemite. Why would you not want to go to Yosemite? It's like
Rich kids,
bucket
man.
list.
Rich kids. They probably went last summer.
Probably, yeah.
Well, I know what you did last summer, so there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was
I
lost.
still know. I still know.
I always know.
All right. Well, everyone
Catch
ranked
them
part
on,
1. Everyone's ranked part 1 as the best. Obviously, I rewatched. So I know everyone says Halloween 1 is a genius movie and blah blah blah. But let's talk about how genius it is, anyways. I rewatched Halloween Part 1 again last night. Look, John Carpenter is my favorite director. The score, we know it's the best. It's my ringtone, blah blah blah. But like, I want to talk about like just the feel of everything that's happening. It's like I like the look of everything. I like the way Haddonfield is with the trees.
Yeah.
I like them walking around with the leaves blowing.
Even though it was summer when they filmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the fact that like it just feels like it's Halloween and there's people getting ready for stuff. It's like, oh, what are we gonna do tonight? Oh, we're gonna do jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, are we gonna go trick-or-treating? Yeah, we're gonna go that. And Tommy's like, oh, I like comics, and they're reading King Arthur. He's like, I don't like King Arthur. He's like, I like these comic books now. And it's like, oh, that's cool. They're watching The Thing, of course, Howard Hawks, which John Carpenter remade. I like we're going to watch a bunch of scary movies. We're going to make popcorn. We're going to go get some candy. Like, this is like what I would be doing on Halloween. It was the only Halloween movie that felt like this was Halloween happening right now. Until part 4, honestly. Part 4 was really the next one. But 1 and 4 are the only ones where I really felt like Halloween was something to happen. Like, it was like actually happening in this town. Like, people were trick-or-treating. That was my H2O problem. That was sort of my H2O thing. It's like they're at the school. There's no trick-or-treaters. Am I frozen?
No.
No.
Gray said.
No, I just, yeah.
Oh, I didn't look at the thing.
I was just being gray.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so like it's like Halloween is an event, right? Like in no other movie was Halloween such an event where it's like people are
It's
getting
a character
ready.
in itself.
It's
Right.
right. It's like what costume are you gonna wear? Like even in part 4, she goes to pick a costume. I remember going to the store and then it was Slim Pickens. And it's like, I don't know. And you try to find something cool. I like all that. And part 1 has all that. I like the girls. I felt that the girls were friends. And not because the script said that they were friends. Just the Rob Zombie movie was, the script says these girls are friends, but they're not friends. It's like, I don't see any connection with any of them. They don't interact with each other. There's no personality in any of them. This one they did. I liked Annie. I legit liked Annie. I thought she was super funny. I know Nancy. I like Nancy Loomis. She's from Assault on Precinct 13, which is one of my favorites. I thought she was very funny. And she's like, he's 87. It's like, he's like, well, he was staring at me. It's like, that's probably all he can do. Like, she's like, oh, and I call Ben Tramer, and he likes you. She's like, what? No, call her back. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like, what? No, do it. You know, like, all of that stuff is great. Annie getting caught in the window, and then she comes back. She's like, I was caught in the window. It's like, don't tell anybody. Immediately, she runs to, she was caught in the window. It's like, I don't tell anybody. All of that is so good. It's just people living their lives on Halloween, on the eve of Halloween, and Michael Myers creeping around. The thing with it is so good is like, you keep seeing him. It's like, oh, whoa. And then you look and he's gone. I like that. You had that in part 4, and you did have a little bit of that in some of the other ones, even in H2O and stuff, but I don't feel that the characters who should have seen him saw him. Only Laurie saw him in H2O. Right now, I know that's the main thing. It's like, it's her nightmare. No one else believes her. So it worked in that movie. But I like the fact that, like, it's like he's just creeping around, and it's like, oh, he's not there. Where is he? I don't know. It's awesome. It's a great movie. It deserves the praise that it gets. And that movie started all of this stuff. Without this movie, we wouldn't be having this conversation about any horror movies. There'd be no Friday the 13th. I know Bay of Blood, and there's a few other, choice movies where you could point to and say, well, this is Yeah, but Halloween, guy putting the mask on, creeping people out and killing them, that's Michael Myers, that's John Carpenter, man.
Yeah.
All right,
okay. Can we talk about that one part when Laurie was just got attacked by Michael, and she was running across the street to like, Tommy, open the door. He's like, who is it?
Yeah.
That was awesome. And because the kid woke up, right? He went to bed. He woke up. He's like, well, he's like, okay, I'll come down. She's like, no, come. Like, it's all very low key realistic. It's a short movie. It's fast. You don't explain Michael Myers' origin. I don't like the TV version. I don't know is that a hot take? I don't like the TV.
No, it just feels padded out. But also, I think this is revealed in the TV version, and this is probably why Michael Myers becomes a serial killer, is that his middle name is Audrey. And I was like, okay, you have a chick's name. Therefore, you deserve to be bullied. And that's why he starts stabbing people, which is understandable.
I mean, the movie is a masterclass on filmmaking, in my opinion. Like, it's like when the scene that Gray just alluded to, she's knocking out, and like Michael's coming in, it's just like da, 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 and like the camera work, like Michael's just walking towards the camera, and it's just cutting her. He's getting closer, cutting. He's getting closer, cutting. He's getting closer. Like, it's building tension with actually nothing happening. A man's crossing the road, but you're like terrified because of how Carpenter used the score, how he filmed the scene, how Nick Castle walked. Like, he was very casual. He was just like, purposeful but casual. It's a unique walk that I don't think you can ever do again.
Yes, man.
I love the scene even at the beginning when they're walking around the insane asylum, because they look like trick-or-treaters. They're all in white. They look like ghosts, and they're just wandering the grounds. It's really kind of weird. And then like they sort of recreated this shot in Halloween Kills where Nancy Stevens' character is in the car, and then the hand comes down and breaks the pane of glass, and they recreated that in Halloween Kills, which I thought was cool. There's not, I mean, PJ Souls, she feels like a real person.
Great.
Totally. You do totally, like, everything is totally. I love that. Obviously, we stole this for our own movie, J-Man, where he puts the knife into Bob, and then he's doing the
admiring his handiwork.
By the way, Halloween Kills, the picture for Bob was Bob Odenkirk. I don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
I saw that. I didn't notice it in the movie, but I saw it afterwards. Or whatever.
I thought that was kind of like, I'm like, why is Bob Odenkirk in this movie? It's just such a genius film. It's a classic. Like, it's my top 10 of all time.
Same.
There's not a literally bad thing I can say about the movie. It is literally like magic on screen.
Can we talk about how Dr. Loomis in the movie, when he's explaining like, oh, I tried to keep him. It's like, you kept him in for like for 6 years? No, I tried to help him for 6. I could try to keep him inside for 7.
Yeah.
8 and 7. He goes, the first 8 years I tried to reach him.
Right.
The next 7, I wanted him to never get out.
Right. I was like, all right, you know what? I love his train of thought. Like, at some point, I just say, you know what? I can't do this anymore.
But I just love how haunted he is through the entire film. Like, he's literally like, but you got to believe me. Like, you can't have this guy wandering around. Like, he's going to kill someone.
I love how everybody's like, oh, damn you for letting him go. And he's like, I didn't know. I was like, have you not listened to anything this man has been saying to you?
Yeah.
He did not let him go. You're just not listening.
He just got out.
Yeah.
And
The druids got to him.
driving. The guy's like, he goes, what's he going to do? Drive to Haddonfield? He's like, he was doing very well last night.
like he's always like, Lewis is always here. Like when he's like, you're bringing me up to here now. Like, Michael Myers is here. Now you're being dumb and you're making me here. I can't do this.
Yeah, well, even like when Michael escapes, he takes off in the car, and he's like, the evil has escaped. Like, he's just freaking out. He's like, you don't know what the hell just happened to you. Like, it's not just some random inmate just left.
The evil.
Yeah, the evil has escaped.
Yeah,
Like, doctor, you are, man. It's like, what's with the Hippocratic oath? Like,
No, but it was the blackest eyes. You know?
Yeah.
But here's I always thought there was a story behind that, because when he said like I tried to help him for 7 and the next 8, or no, I tried to help him for 8 and the next 7 I kept him inside. I want to know, what did he find? What made him so crazy? Like, we never saw. We alluded to it. We like, oh, he found out he was the darkest of evil. Like, yeah, but how did you find out? Like, did you find out about the druids? Did you find out of like what? Like, I feel like there's a story there.
Yeah, and I like that they didn't tell it. Where the TV version tried to show a few parts where he's trying to reach Michael, and I don't like those parts at all. It's just padding, as Owen said, but not even just padding. I don't want the scene in there. I really like the first 15 minutes of this movie. It's like POV, very scary, and nobody's giving credit to this POV stuff, because POV was around.
That was
awesome. Yeah.
There's a
Michael shot.
Yeah.
There's a Bogart and Bacall film. I think it's Dark Passage. I don't remember if that.
Oh, it's genius.
Yeah, and the whole thing is POV, and then they reveal that its face got changed, right?
Yeah.
So the entire movie is POV for a long time, and even that one where he plays the detective that he plays in Maltese Falcon. What's the guy's name?
Phil Marlowe?
Marlowe. There's a Marlowe movie where it's all POV as well, and you're solving the case. You're the detective, and you're solving the case.
Bunny Wake is missing, or something like that.
Yeah, so it's something like that. But Dark Passage, same thing, POV. So the beginning POV, you're the killer, which is great.
Yeah.
And he stabbed his sister, and then it's like flashback or flash forward. Boom, he's in the mental hospital. Boom, he escaped. Oh my God, Evil escaped. He's coming back home. Done. It is the fastest setup, and it gets right into. People say it's a slow movie, but it's not slow. There's things going on, and it's interesting to look at, and you're following Laurie. It's not slow. It's done really good. 90 minutes. It's slightly even less than 90 minutes, maybe. I don't know. It's like a shorter movie. Get right to it. It's awesome.
Oh, J-Man, you're right. The POV scene is really good, and you kind of breezed past one part. You find out that Michael's a little bit of a pervert. He watched his sister have sex.
Yeah,
like, right there. Like, and then he saw the guy just leave. Like, that's just weird. That's just weird. No, but just you're right. This movie is a masterpiece. You can't redo it. There's no way you can redo it today.
Right.
Just just the whole thing with like Loomis is crazy. I just want to go back to Nick. Loomis is nuts. It's like he did Willis. It's like, oh, like you have to kill. He's gonna kill everybody. I don't know. But Loomis is just crazy. Anything he says.
There's that scene too where he goes to the cemetery, and he's taking him to Judith Meyer's plot, and they get there, and the tombstone is missing, and the guy says, why do they do it? Kids are he's blaming kids for this. I'm like, what kids took off with a tombstone? That looked pretty frigging heavy. Like unearth it and take like that. I like
without being
I'm sure
seen.
people be driving by and being like, they're taking a tombstone out. Like
Your kids are the X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
There's some
Maybe it was
Avengers
a
in
cheaper
there.
one. Maybe it wasn't that heavy. It was a cheaper tombstone. They didn't.
It's
the
polystyrene.
story-
Yeah.
It was the daughter they didn't want.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, do you have anything to add to part one? Just as a
Like, I feel like part one, even though it was made in the 70s and there's some dated references in it, it sort of feels kind of modern, like not like super slickly modern, but it feels like it wasn't made in the 70s, like it was made like earlier than that, because a lot of movies took from it. I think that's part of what gives it its resonance and its longevity in terms of like just looking not like some sort of eye-rolling like old dated thing that
Right.
that you could show this to anyone now. You could show this to teenagers now, and they'd be totally enthralled by the story. It doesn't feel like, I'd say, I don't know if you could do that with Black Christmas, for example. And I love Black
Right.
Christmas, but it doesn't feel like a 70s relic. It feels fresh and new when I watch it now. So
It feels like a memory.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it, like,
yeah, like I had a Halloween like that without the killer running around.
Right. I mean, Sean, I mean, you're angry. You're pretty angry. I mean, like sometimes you need to like just let loose.
I like how Tommy is seeing Michael a lot, and Lori had seen him, and Tommy had seen him, and Lori's just like, okay, just some guy or whatever, and Tommy's like, oh, it's the boogeyman, look, and then she doesn't see him. It's like, it's weird. It's because the two of them are the only two who are kind of like noticing that there's something weird, and the one kid and the kid is going freaking out saying it's boogeyman, and she's just like, okay, well, it's just some creepy guy or whatever outside. And then obviously that comes together. This idea that people nowadays, I hate this take where people watch these movies now and pretend that it was made 5 minutes ago, and they apply these modern sensibilities,
Yeah.
modern movie making to an old movie. That it's like, if you didn't have Halloween, your stupid ass wouldn't be talking about it, right? You wouldn't be talking about horror.
You wouldn't have
movies.
Scream. You wouldn't have any of the things that you love.
Right. And they say it's like, oh, I thought Scream was much better. It's like, well, there wouldn't be Scream without Halloween, dumbass.
Yeah.
Danger.
Or even Psycho, right? It's like you go back and it's like, oh, this isn't that good or whatever. It's like, okay, you guys are insane. It's like, and then it's like, oh, she drops the knife.
Arrogant place, though. It comes from an arrogant place because you think like,
Yeah.
oh, we're the best. We're the best. We see everything now. It's that meta mentality.
Yeah.
It's the arrogance that comes with being meta. That you've seen everything. You can think that you can either outsmart it or you can do it better.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Right. That's the point. It's like, and then they're like, oh, Lori drops the knife. It's like, okay, I'm sorry. Are you like a ninja? Like, it's like, oh, pick up the knife and stab them 1,000 times. It's like, we're trying to make a real person here. If
Yeah.
someone attacks me, and Lori doesn't know that Michael Myers can't be killed. She doesn't know that. It's just a guy in a mask. He stabs him. He gets up. It's like, well, he got stabbed with a needle. Well, he pulled it out. He's running on adrenaline or he's drugged up, right? It's like he's going. And she stabbed him. It's like, why would you think I should stab him 1,000 times? She's not a crazy murderer. She stabbed him. She's like, okay, I'm getting out of here. You know what I mean? And then she's hurt. And then he gets up. You're like, oh no. And people are like, why did you stab him 1,000 times? Like, well, because she's the real person. Or they're trying to make a real movie. Like, she's not a ninja. Even Loomis, he shoots him and he keeps shooting him because he's just like, shit, I'm gonna shoot this guy as many times as I can. He's like,
no. The add-on is like, because we already seen that Michael was kind of supernatural. So like, who's said that she would even get to 1,000 times? He could have been like, she could have been stabbing him. He could have like grabbed her and just.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what Joe Fisher's saying is what Rob Zombie said when he was making the remake. But the thing is, in the movie, it's funny, they referenced that. Like Dr. Loomis is disappointed that someone taught him how to drive or something like that.
Yeah, maybe someone in here gave him lessons.
They do say it, you know.
Yeah.
They say it.
Yeah.
And they say he goes, how is he going to get to Haddonfield? It's not like he could drive. He's like, he was doing very well last night.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody there gave him lessons.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
One of my favorite things about the movie as well, which is sort of just in terms of creating the atmosphere, is how they're watching TV and it's The Thing from Another World, which of course John Carpenter would remake as The Thing. But just you've got the voiceover, that guy with the cool, creepy voice. It's like, stay tuned for The Thing. And I just love it. It just creates this whole atmosphere, but you've also got that noise in the background and you've got the creepy sound effects, and it just adds to this sort of dread in the background. You're like, is that part of the TV or is it, reality or what? And it's just so good.
Well, I think it's very relatable, like to what you guys were saying earlier. Like, how many times on Halloween, if you went trick or treating, you came home and you got a bowl of popcorn and you sat down and watched a horror movie, and it's like one of those old horror movies on TV, or you went to a neighbor's house and sat down with that person and watched that thing. Like, it's so much like real to you because the trappings are all familiar. They're all like, I would have done this, like I would have got the crappy costume and I would have done that. And, like the thing is too, is that when she's going around trying to get back in like when she sees Michael and she's running and she's knocking on the houses, when the trick-or-treaters are, everyone shuts down. Like no one's answering the door anymore. No one's like, everyone goes to bed. So it's literally like it's familiar. Like you could see yourself in that situation. Hopefully you never end up in that situation, but you see yourself in that situation. And I think that's why it resonates so much, with us, because, we've all probably been there, done that. So.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just when people try to be cool and pretend that these movies aren't that good and all that, there's not enough blood and guts and gore and all that. It's like, I'm sorry, this wasn't made 5 minutes ago. Like, if there was all this gore, blood, and guts, that movie wouldn't have come out in theaters. It's like it wouldn't have been like when Alfred Hitchcock can't show a toilet in a film, and they're saying we're not going to play this in the cinema if you show a toilet, and he's like, well, F you, I'm showing a toilet. We need to have some perspective here. It's like we need to watch movies and put ourselves in the mindset of the people watching at the time. Like I could say the same thing for Texas Chainsaw. Nothing happened in that movie.
Or the Saw movies.
Like the Saw movies now, it's like, well, the first Saw movie actually is very low key.
Yeah,
I just watched it a couple of weeks ago, part 1. It's pretty. You've imagined it worse than it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, if you actually watch it and pause and be like, okay, how much gore is there? Nothing really happened. It's one of those,
right.
You don't really see anything.
That was the marketing, though. That was like that. That's what scared me. Like, because you did come into it a lot more worse. It's kind of like how I felt about the first time I saw Kill Bill. I thought it was gonna be I thought it was gonna be ultra violent. You're gonna see blood and guts and ass. It's all over the screen for 2 hours. It's like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is that Halloween is one of those movies where you remember where you were when you first saw it. You remember how you first saw it. Mm-hmm. If you go back and actually look at movies released year after year, there's going to be movies there where you're like, oh, I saw that in the theater. They're totally unmemorable. But it's special if you remember where you were when you first saw something. And that says something about the movie itself.
Absolutely.
So do we think, okay, so we've got a little bit more we can go for before I shut it down. Okay, so we've done all of our things. I will recap everyone's really quick. So this is from worst to best. I was Rob Zombie 1, Rob Zombie Part 2, H2O Resurrection, Curse, 2018 Season of the Witch, Part 5, Halloween Kills, 4, 2, 1. Owen, you were the 2 Rob Zombies, Curse, Resurrection, Season of the Witch, Part 5, Part 4, 2018 H2O Kills, 2, 1. Sean, you were the 2 Rob Zombies, Curse, H2O Resurrection, Part 5. 2018, Halloween Kills 4321, Steve, You Were Curse, Rob Zombie Remake, Resurrection, 2018, H2O, Rob Zombie Part 2. Then it was 453 Kills 2-1. Gray, You Were the Two Rob Zombies. Season of the Witch, Curse of Michael Myers, Resurrection Part 2. That's a bit of a hot take.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at that, that's a bit of a hot take, I think. Kills 2018, Revenge for H2O1. So we all agree Part 1, like basically our top 6 is they're all pretty close. Right? There's a couple of like maybe, you know, people put something above another.
Just say number 2 is the hot take. Just say it. Like
that is a hot take.
I said it. The first, even the Lori being revealed to be Michael's sister is kind of contrived.
No, you're right. You're right. It's yeah. My hot take is H2O. Gray's is Part 2. What's Owen's hot take? I don't think
that I don't like the Jamie trilogy so much. Maybe that's my hot take.
I suppose, but you got Part 4 in your top.
I mean, I do enjoy them. Like I've still got. There's that new Blu-ray that's just come out of Part 5, which I want to see, which has that alternate opening where the guy who saves him is he like a druid or something like that? I can't remember, but I really want to see it because that's one thing I wanted to mention about Part 5 is that he rescues Michael as he's floating down the river at the opening, and then it cuts to a year later, and you know. Michael's still there, and I was like, "Has Michael been like lying there for a year? Have you been like, have you been bathing him and like feeding him?" And I was like, "What have we been doing for the past year?"
I think the theory is that he only awakens around Halloween time, like that's his life.
He's like a serial killer bear.
Hibernation.
Yeah. He hibernates.
Halloween hibernation. That's what it
Well, that's like It, right? It comes out every
23 years.
Yeah.
Halloween hibernation. I'm making that movie. That's great. In our final kind of time here, what do you think should happen after Halloween ends? Should Halloween end? I'll start by saying no, it should not end.
It will never end. They'll
make more
money.
Not in the same continuity, but yeah.
So what do you think? Okay, so Steve, what do you think? Like, if you're going to do after Halloween ends, what would you do? Would you reboot from scratch or continue from Part 1 in a new timeline again? Or
I hate when they keep rebooting and ignoring stuff. I dislike that in Texas, and I dislike that here. I would still continue on. If you can figure out a way to continue on from ends, I would. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like Friday the 13th. I've admired how they did that because they did, the final Friday, and then they said a new beginning. Right. And they were just saying it's a new beginning. Now, it was a little bit disappointing because it wasn't Jason, but there was no reboot. It was still the same idea, right? And they bring him back to life in Part 6. So 5 is there. It's just appeared between 4 and 6. I like that. I like everything connects. That's why I really admire what Child's Play is doing right now, right? With like connecting everything. It can all be part of the same universe. I don't see what the problem is, but H2O kind of ended that because Jamie's now a boy, right? It's Josh Hartnett, and after that, they just kept...
Wait, I'm sorry, Steve. I thought she died, like and like John came out later because like if you look at the ages, Jamie would be like in her late 20s, whereas John was like 17.
I don't recall them saying that. Maybe they did, but I don't recall them saying
in H2O. No, Jamie is ignored.
Yeah, she's ignored.
It's completely, yeah. Oh,
so
okay.
I don't. That's where it broke. So you could reboot it again, but like keep rebooting it. Then you get into the Batman sort of argument where like we don't need to see the origin again. We don't need to see. Like if you keep rebooting it, where you exhaust the fans. Fans love continuity. That's why I think people really the true Halloween fans liked Halloween Kills because they're like, oh, there's the original Lindsay and there's Tommy Doyle's back and there's Lonnie. Like they like that stuff. They want to feel like they haven't wasted their time. they want to feel there's a bigger picture behind things. Right. And I feel that every time you reboot it, you just negated what people liked up to here, to here, to here, to here, to here.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think with ends, they're going to kill Laurie. I mean, she has to sacrifice herself at the end, fighting Michael, and she'll, like, I don't know, they'll jump into a fire or something, or impale on something, and Combine Harvester, Universal Soldier style or something. She'll be like, you're discharged, Michael. But yeah, Laurie's dead after ends. So I think if they do continue do other characters, you know, it doesn't have to be Strode. I suppose they could use the daughter.
Yeah,
they've got her there. I love that they killed off Karen at the end of Kills. Spoiler alert! But I was saying to Jay earlier, I said I loved her name was Karen. I want someone to say, "Complain to the manager now, bitch."
She might not be good. She could survive. She could survive that ordeal, maybe.
Everybody else survives, so why not?
Yeah.
Just a flesh wound. Yeah.
All right.
Let's walk it off.
Cool J, yeah.
So Sean, what do you think? Halloween Ends, is that it, or should there be more?
There'll be more movies. That's kind of a crazy question. It's like they keep making money off these things, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll end this continuity, and then they'll do either another sequel to part 1 or part 1 and 2, or they could do something brand new, like, well, Rob Zombie did that, right? But there'll be another Halloween in some sort of capacity. It's just like, I'm just nervous as to what that would be, because we're getting farther and farther out from the late 70s, and making sequels to part 1 is kind of strange, because then what happened to Michael Myers in like 40 years, right? It's like, is he just hanging around? And what's he doing? Is he like a corporate CEO, and he becomes like what's happening?
American Psycho.
I would love for Michael.
And you almost have to, like, I always thought, well, maybe a hot take would be to continue on from 6 somehow.
I know. I was thinking that.
Yeah, it's like, what's the harm in doing that, right? So,
or continue on from 5 and forget 6 happened, and bring back
or,
Jamie.
or just 4, and then and Jamie's been in prison all this time and comes out. Or something.
She comes out.
Yeah.
She's the new Michael.
Like
there you go.
She fights Michael.
Die, like she was left for dead. Like, and then she just went into hiding like her mother.
Yeah.
Well, she's a brave little girl, so
she disguised herself as Josh Hartnett.
Well, yeah, that's why his face looks like it's hanging off.
It's a mask. That's the mask.
It's a mask.
Like Mission Impossible. Like.
Yeah. I always thought, honest to God, no offenses, man, I always thought they should do a remake of Incredible Melting Man with that guy. They can save so much money on makeup. It's just, his face just looks like that anyways. God damn.
That's like so outrageous.
Sean has turned this into random shots on Josh.
Shots fired. Sorry, Josh. He does not speak for all of us.
Right?
He's gonna play Superman at one point. He's like,
I didn't think I'd need any of these, but. What the hell? It's
my God.
I didn't think I would need my animated GIFs here. But yeah, oh my God. Well, I mean, they need to, like, okay, so Michael Myers gets blown up at the end of Ends, let's say. And let's say his spirit comes out and someone catches it in a bottle and puts it in a new body, and then it's a new Michael. I don't know. Like, what are you going to do with that guy?
What, like Jason Goes to Hell?
I think Jason X was the best, because they're just like, we tried to kill him all these ways and he just can't die. We don't know what to do. And it could just be like that. Like Michael's in some experimental tube and they're like, we can't kill him. We don't know what's keeping him alive.
Halloween Kills again in space.
In space.
That's why we haven't done that yet.
Halloween X or whatever.
About Jason X. That beginning scene was really cool.
It's
You're
awesome,
like, whoa. Like, I didn't know the government was really good. They had him. They put him in cryo freeze.
Yeah,
of course they did.
Not before killing Cronenberg, but yeah.
Worst idea ever.
No, Leprechaun in the Hood. That was the worst idea ever.
And then they made Leprechaun in the Hood too. It's like,
Back to the Hood.
Yeah,
back to the Hood. Oh God.
I love how in Jason X, when the girl is being sucked into space, and she's like, "This sucks on so many levels."
Right?
I love the. It's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
That's the best line.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best
Dude
line.
was making
It
that
is.
robot.
Yeah. Kane,
I think that one girl kept on making fun of him because she liked him. He's like, "You're making a robot."
I just love how they do this hologram, and he's still bashing the girl against a tree in the freaking hologram.
Yeah, they had holodeck
No, he
technology.
did it with the sleeping bag.
Yeah,
Dude,
His best ever kill. Yeah.
that was great. Where's
Well,
your
all right, guys. So, I mean, that was pretty good. We did it under 3 hours, which is what I was hoping for, which is pretty
It's under.
monumental.
Yeah, I've lost the feeling in my cheeks. So
I mean, like, I keep sitting up to like adjust myself here. Well, I think that was really, really good.
Time frame. Like
Um,
actually, it leads to like what 2 a.m. right now.
No, we're all the same time. We're
yeah,
all,
just 5 minutes away from Jay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they all live with. Well, Sean lives a bit of a ways, but we're all pretty close. Okay, so I have put a link to everyone's channels and Steve's webpage in the description of all my videos. That your guys' links are in all my videos, even if they're not live streams. So I've always got all your links in there. So give a subscribe to Greymalkin. He's doing a lot of X-Men stuff. That's pretty much the main focus of your channel, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Inferno was crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. We're going to talk about that when we do our
Right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so and Owen Action Elite. Give
One
us.
day I'll start posting stuff again.
Yeah, I mean you stream on and off right now, sort of on Fridays.
Yeah, normally it's every Friday, but I'm kind of taking a break right now because the day job's busy, unfortunately. So priorities.
But still, there's a lot of stuff on the website as well. Here,
That's
girl,
fun.
I don't know who this is. I've never seen this before.
I know. I'll click on that link later and see what happens.
Someone's spamming you, Jay.
Yeah, that's a big time
I
spam.
think
That's
those
awesome.
too.
But you get knocked in by YouTube, so you should try to get those.
block
Oh, I
it.
should
Yeah.
block them.
Yeah, block them.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah,
someone's
block.
actively trying to do that to you to knock you off. Anyway,
okay.
whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's over now.
The fun of the internet.
There's a few people, and Marcus was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on here. He posted some stuff. I'll try to respond to it when I can. It's about He-Man. I don't want to get into it on here. But okay, so that's it. We will be back next Thursday. We should be back to our normal comic book stream, and we'll talk about a bunch of stuff. Now, next Friday, Sean. I'm sorry, we're not going to be here Thursday. Sean and I are seeing Eternals.
Yeah.
Next
the Bronco
Friday,
movie?
yeah. Next Friday, Sean and I are going to be on Clobberin Times discussing the Eternals. I've stopped reading it. I read the first 3 issues and I stopped. So I'm going to be the one who, because I intentionally stopped, because I want to be the one who doesn't know that much going in. And Sean and Clobby and Mark D with a C is coming in. As well. So it's going to be the 4 of us on Clobberin Times channel, which I also have a link to in all my videos. Okay, guys, that is it. I think for this stream, I think we're all happy with our rankings.
And we're all Halloweened out, I think. Yeah.
I think we're Halloweened out. All right, guys. So tomorrow is Halloween. So happy Halloween to everybody.
It's almost time.
Happy
Kids.
Halloween.
Almost time. He's coming. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.